Yeah, probably. It's.
Go.
I think it's a lot easier to test.
Well, yeah, you just freaking go in a cup,
right?
Yeah,
so
it's a win-win for
mug
everyone.
Here, if you want to freaking go again,
the Bayside cup.
Yeah, the upsetting part is that the ones over there are full, which is odd. I thought they would at least be empty.
Listen,
clean up before the guests come.
They don't even have a lid on it, dude. It smells like chlorine in here.
The Dad Collective Podcast.
And we're back. I'm Daniel.
I'm Paul.
And this is
the Dad Collective Podcast.
Paul, I'm jumping right into it. I'm excited.
You were just like right off. I was
out the gate, feeling good, feeling turned on.
Wow.
Yeah, like emotionally
turned on.
No erections or anything.
I hope not.
Not yet.
It's pretty early in the day, and we usually do this at night. So
yeah, so it's a different type of energy, dad energy.
Yeah.
But on that note, very excited to introduce you to our guest today. I was going to say first guest, but we're not a talk show.
We're not a talk show.
Our guest today, you may have seen him, likely, across all of your social media channels. TikTok, Instagram, 200,000 plus followers, millions of views, likes, hearts, everything you do to interact with social media, he's done.
He's pretty much,
He's a Torontonian.
Ish. Ontarioanian.
GTO, General, Greater Toronto, Greater GOA, Greater Ontario area.
Letters were never your thing.
No, I'm not good with that.
You try.
But more importantly, a fellow dad.
Yes.
And before we introduce him, before we bring him to the camera, I think maybe could we show a clip? Can we show a clip from some of his socials?
We'll do it like right now.
Okay, so it's the time of day that determines bedtime, not how long he's been up. All right, it's definitely how long he's been up that determines bedtime, not the time of day. I don't know, okay?
That was 10 out of 10.
So funny.
So good.
So good.
So good.
Give it up, Paul.
For the one, the only.
Tyler Champagne.
Boom. Or should we say pop?
Woo!
It's like a little pop champagne.
Is that even a real last name? Be honest.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
People think it's a stage name, which would be extremely weird.
Awkward from a dad perspective.
But also just like if I thought that of myself, like I'm the champagne of people, of comedy, of content creators. That's how good I am. That would be insane if that
Although
was.
Prosecco's making a comeback. So.
It is.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's also cheaper.
Yeah, you know.
People are
setting
struggling.
the bar high.
You age like a fine champagne, but also the Thick Daddy.
Yep.
It's your license plate.
That's my license plate.
Love
it's
it.
on my water bottle too.
That's that's great. You get a lot of like people stopping you or honking at you. How does that?
I see people taking pictures a lot in my in my rearview mirror of my license plate. I also have Thick Boy from Ontario plates.
Isn't that
So
it's
what's like the messaging behind that? Like,
Thick Boy is also the guy
Brendan Schaub
Brendan
has
Schwab,
that. But he has
UFC
3
guy.
C's, and Ontario you can only have
2 C's.
8 letters. So I went with 2 C's.
So he's one thicker than you. He's also a guy I really want to fuck with. Like
dude, he's a former UFC fighter.
Exactly. Well, have you seen his UFC fights? I think you actually might do okay against him. He wasn't the best UFC.
He did have a crazy knockout against, I can't remember the guy's name, but a pretty legendary
Just
fighter.
to get into the UFC, you got to have some.
But then he went
talent.
to stand up, and his stand up was worse than his fighting. So, you know.
Yeah, let's.
It wasn't
Are we
until,
calling him out right now?
Let's do it. Hey,
just
Schwab.
don't let him know
We're
your address.
30 seconds in, and we're calling out
Schwab?
And we're
This is how
having-
it's going.
yeah.
Theo Vaughn's next. You're fucked, Theo.
Controversies.
So you made the trip in from Waterdown to Toronto.
Yes, I did. It was a lovely drive.
It was.
Well, it's a nice day, so driving's so much better on a nice day, right?
True, but it's middle of the day, and there's still dead stop traffic.
Really?
It's my life,
from
man.
Mississauga Road to Dixie was just dead stop.
I drive way too much in the city, and every day it just ruins my life. Why don't you give the audience, for the odd person who doesn't know you, give a little elevator pitch of who you are, what you do, all that fun stuff.
I'm a father of 2. I went to comedy school, believe it or not.
Oh, did you?
Humber has a comedy writing and performance program.
Okay.
How long ago was that?
That was 2012 to 14. It's a 2-year program. And I don't want to brag, but I did graduate with honors. Yeah.
What are some of the classes that you take there? Is it like programs like
Stand up.
Stand up,
Laughing 101?
improv, writing. There is an actual clowning course
Oh my
where
God.
you
So
have
it's a
to.
clown
You get it is a clown
I
college,
fucking love that.
and you actually get it. You do get a red nose. I don't know where mine is. I lost it,
That's fine.
unfortunately. But
So that's good. So have you always wanted to do like comedy? Is that like
Yeah, I've always kind of been interested in it. I got interested. I mean, like a lot of people and guys probably my age, our age,
Yeah.
I started watching like Dane Cook in middle school.
Of course,
Okay.
And
MySpace,
that
baby.
was just like mind-blowingly funny when you're, the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah,
bit,
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
Well, we
Superman
still- we
bit.
just-
well,
did
he's
it-
probably on fire in there. That's what happens when you catch up.
I
Like
think
that.
we quoted Dane Cook in our last episode.
We do a
Yeah.
lot.
So that I saw him live twice in Toronto in like his peak when he was selling out
Yeah.
the
Wow.
Air Canada Center.
Well, his face still moved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. While it wasn't made of the same stuff that this floor is made out of.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's what I got into it, and I actually did stand up for the first time ever. So my high school did all the grade 12s had to do a senior speech.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, which is probably pretty standard, I would
Yeah. Like
imagine.
Like all the grade 12s, you said?
Yeah.
They all got
So
a line.
everyone has to do like a 5 to 7 minute speech. It's part of the English class, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like the final assignment. It's worth like 30% of your grade.
What?
Crazy.
Yeah, so it's to get people up
Is this
there.
a private school or a public school?
It was a private school.
Okay, that makes
Does
sense.
that make?
No, I'm cut from that cloth partially.
And so you have to do 5 to 7 minutes on a topic that you're passionate about. So some people did it on sports, some people did it on family. Fucking boring.
Yeah.
Right. And I was just like, I went to my English teacher and I was like, can I do stand up for this? She was like, no one's ever asked us that. What is wrong with you? She's like,
And were you already known as like a funny guy in school, or like this came out of left
not the
field to them?
funniest.
No.
I give that shout out to my friend Grayson,
Yeah.
who's a writer, who I've actually been in some of his plays and stuff. We did a Fringe Festival show.
Okay.
Very
cool.
But over a decade ago now as well. But I was just like, can I do stand up for my senior speech? And they were like, I guess, like, we have to read it first. And I was like, of course. Like, so it was in our like school chapel. So there's like stained glass around me. And I'm just
Yeah.
like talking about
Crosses on the wall.
yeah.
yeah.
And then the mic was like from a podium. They didn't have a proper
Yeah,
mic.
like you're
They just-
holding a mic.
like I
right?
had like a Bob Barker mic, so it's
Oh,
like
that's the best.
3.5 feet long. I'm holding the
that
base
could have
of it
been your
down
thing.
here.
Nobody's doing that anymore.
I know it could have been, or like just like hang down like Bruce Buffer from the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
ceiling. That would have been fun too. But that was the first time I ever did it. Was high school, and then I didn't do it for.
How'd it
I
go?
went off to. I mean, I think.
Standing O or like
I think it went well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus was proud.
yeah. The Lord didn't.
Move.
Yeah, you didn't
There
get
wasn't any
struck.
bad weather later that day,
That's
so I
good.
guess that means the Lord approved.
No frogs.
Right, I'd say no apocalypse type stuff, no cicadas, crickets, nothing.
So it went well, and then you stopped for a bit.
Yeah, and then I went off to school. I went to sport management program at Brock.
Okay.
And then after that, I just decided that I was kind of done with that. I moved to Toronto, and I did like a stand-up course in the summer through
Yeah.
Second City.
Yeah, I did Second City as well. Yeah.
And that was kind of like, that kind of got the itch going again. And I was
Yeah.
like, usually when you get an itch in college or university, it's a bad thing.
Try to get the
Yes.
cream for that.
This
but
was, usually you need a prescribed.
prescribed
But
cream.
that comedy itch is just the best one to scratch.
Yeah, it feels so good. And and then I found that there was a comedy writing and performance program at Humber, and my mom was like, you can't just like stop doing school to do stand up.
Yeah, you
She's
gotta
like, at
finish
least
up."
do school for it. And I was
For
like,
stand up.
yeah, at least do
Yeah.
school for it. So you're learning something. Yeah, so there's writing classes, improv. I was terrible at improv. I hated it.
Okay.
But the stand up was my main thing. I loved writing. And it was, 2-year program. So 4 semesters of doing comedy, and that kind of got me
Nice.
into it. And then I stopped doing that as well for many years. I did, probably 180 sets of stand up in like the last year.
Did you ever think of like going out to LA or New York or was that
It occurred to me, but I also just like, there were so many people in my class that were so much better than me. And I
Yeah.
was just like, that seems like a crazy leap. And my mom was like, you need to start like making some money.
Yeah, we've
so I got
been
into
there.
the car business.
okay?
And at this point, you're not married, not
No,
engaged yet.
nothing. Just a single guy, 24
Yeah.
ish.
Ish.
No, like younger, 22, I guess. And then I actually met my wife within 6 months of starting that. No, within like 3 months of starting that job. We worked in the same physical building for different companies.
Okay. Little coffee. I don't even know what they do in buildings.
Yeah, we don't have real
Coffee.
jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
she
have
would
fake
always walk by
jobs.
my desk, and I was just like enthralled. And I was so like, she apparently, this is the story she tells, is that she was like giving me all these signals, and
And
I
you
just
missed them all.
All of
fucking
them.
every single one of them, dude. I was just like, that late. She is so pretty. And then at one point, one of her coworkers came up to me. This is after like weeks, if not months.
Yeah.
and was like, you know that she likes you, dumbass, right? And I was like,
But that's
what?
a good feeling though. Like that's like, oh my god, this girl
Yeah.
I've been kind of like secretly obsessed over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obsessed is let's
Sad,
be
like
this is a
pictures on
sensitive
your
time.
wall at home.
Yeah, I had pictures of her like outside, like black and white photos, like NCIS, like red string on a board. No.
Connecting her to where
None
she's
of that
gonna
is
be.
true.
Photoshopping yourself into
okay.
photos with her.
So you asked her on a date, and this was how long ago?
I asked her on a date. This is
Like how long have you guys been together?
We've been together almost 10 years.
oh,
and
wow.
married for how long?
Well, we're actually technically, this might blow some minds. We're not technically married. We both do have rings. We have children together. We have a mortgage. We've been together a decade. So it's more of just like,
She
Common-
owns your
it's
life,
common law at
man.
this
She
yeah,
owns your
it's
life.
beyond common law.
Yeah.
So we just, it's a lot easier to refer to her as my wife than my girlfriend.
wife.
Totally. Do you guys ever think about like romanticize about like maybe we'll have like a wedding with the kids involved and do something like small and or at this point like
Maybe somewhere down
past
the road. It would
point
be
of
more
no
of like a
return?
party.
Yeah.
Of just like, hey,
Like,
we're
it's your 10-year
celebrating this.
anniversary.
It's a good
Potentially.
reason to
Fuck, if it's
pop
10-year anniversary,
champagne.
I don't have a lot of time
You
to plan.
have a week.
Yeah.
Get on it. Surprise! It's now.
Yeah,
Your
we're
wife
doing it
comes
now.
out
Honey, come on in.
on the podcast.
No, but my mom's been divorced 3 times, so
all right.
enough marriages to go around.
Yeah.
In the house. But yeah, I mean, it was something that we decided we didn't want to spend that much.
Yeah.
We did the same thing. We canceled our wedding. We eloped in Cayman Islands and didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Like nobody. He didn't. He actually got pissed.
Well, I
I
mean,
would've been pissed.
would it, of course, like so first
Yeah,
of
dude.
all, like
Shout
we've
out. I
known
would've
each
been
other
pissed.
since kindergarten.
We have been friends since.
And
I'll just go fuck off.
He hasn't been, the kind of guy who would have gotten married our whole lives, and all of a sudden he meets someone that he really likes. He wants to get married. I help him kind of like start planning it, and then
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And then he comes back and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're
Listen,
married. It's all
freaking-
not happening."
COVID happened, so we couldn't do a freaking engagement party.
Dude, blaming the
Bullshit. Blame-
pandemic.
yeah, it's
Classic
really low.
move.
Low.
Whatever, man. Fuck Trudeau.
So
So you're a dad.
Now,
So
fast forward
Yeah.
a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So were we talking about how I started creating content?
Yeah,
is this how
we're
far
gonna get
off
I
the
into
want
fucking
to.
it.
rails
Yeah,
we've
this is
gotten?
first of all, welcome to the DAC Collective. We
We
tangent a
tangent on
lot.
everything.
Okay.
Based on what I want to come back to the content because that's the part. Fuck your kids, but I want to know about the whole Instagram, TikTok world. But like, so your kids are how old? Are your kids?
2-year-old boy and a 2-month-old baby girl.
202.
And
Or two.
basically,
actually.
yeah, 202. That's intense.
intense.
202 is a catchy name. Like 2 under 26 months doesn't have the same ring to it. So
202
it's kinda-
could be like a boy band name.
That's what I was thinking. It could
Yeah.
be a solid
for like
boy
a
band.
single, for like a solo artist,
200. That's
right?
genius. Yeah, I love
fucking
it. That's
branding
why you
genius.
make the big
That's pretty
bucks,
good,
man.
dude.
Not
Yeah.
bad, right?
I like
Yeah.
it.
And so which one do you like better?
Well, the boy talks more.
Yeah.
She's 2.
Yeah.
The 2-month-old. I mean, she didn't really do. She's not
don't do much.
contributing.
No, freeloaders.
Hardly at all. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes she'll sigh, and I'm like, "For fucking what are you sighing
Is
for?"
your life so
Yeah,
tough
it's-
that
Yeah, you lay down, you look at the ceiling fan, and you
occasionally-
suck on tits all day.
Sounds pretty good.
Do you know how relaxed I'd
Literally.
be if that
Yeah.
was my day to day?
that's my
Yeah.
yearbook like
That was your
ambition
quote?
was
Yeah.
that laying down and
Sucking
sucking on
on
tits.
titties.
Yeah,
all
looking
day.
at ceiling
All day.
fans and sucking on tits.
I got expelled, but
Did you
so
really?
that's- no, I didn't write
he
that.
was
Oh, I
sick.
did write this though. In all honesty, I wrote like future ambition. I wrote like in grade 8 was you might remember this to be a gynecologist.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to go that route.
I actually think
reasons?
that would be a
Yeah,
horrible
reasons.
fucking job.
Oh, it would be awful.
I would not want to do that.
So 2 under 2.
Yeah.
The girl is 2 months, and I noticed that you don't really. I mean, as active as you are on social, your kids aren't on it.
I don't post my kids.
Conscious decision, obviously, but like,
Yeah.
is that a discussion you have with your wife?
Oh,
Is
now,
that what I
now
do
there's
for
gonna,
the
the
rest
wife's going to be in
of the time?
quotes the whole
Air
time,
quotes.
right?
With your baby's mamas?
With my baby mama,
Yeah.
singular. I have one baby mama.
What was the motivation there?
It was something that obviously I didn't know that my channel would become
Big.
as big as it is,
Yeah.
and it was just a decision from the beginning. I had someone close to me who had actual legitimate
Reasons.
legal issues
Yeah.
with posting her kids online
Oh,
at some point.
fuck. Okay.
So it was in our, let's say, close circle.
Yeah.
It was an issue of like this person, like no one's allowed to post her children ever. Even
Yeah.
if family, if it's in the background of something, it has to be blurred.
Yeah.
Because there was a legitimate safety reason
Yeah.
for it. So that was kind of like, well, what if this thing
It's motivation.
gets
from
big?
That. Yeah.
I don't want to have to. And then I'm so glad that I did, because obviously there's different levels to it, right? Like I was, again, not to brag, but I was interviewed by Cosmo. Ever heard of it?
Oh,
for this?
shit.
Right about them once.
about not posting kids,
Yeah.
my kids. along with some creator friends of mine. And it's obviously there's different levels to it, right? There's, casually posting your kids in like family photos and stuff. I have a private Instagram account that's only family and friends that I post constantly about my kids because they're fucking
It's easier
cute.
than like a million group messages and group texts, right? So
and I
it's
still get shit from like other family members who were like, "Oh, you haven't sent us a picture in like 12 hours." I'm like, "They haven't done anything."
Yeah. Still sucking on
Same.
tits.
So there's obviously she's looking at the ceiling fan sucking on tits, man. Give me a break. You want to see another picture of that?
and if
so-
they say
I
yes,
mean, I
drop
kinda
it, it's
do.
kind of creepy. So
Yeah,
I get
dude.
you. Yeah.
So again, there's different levels to that, right? And then there's all the way up to the levels of like where people are exploiting their children for personal financial gain.
And there's
which
like
is,
and there is what's that? I mean, you probably know because you're in that world. But what's that girl? Is
Ren is her name?
Ren, yeah.
That's the mom, I believe.
mom,
and
yeah,
she is
something
just
Ren.
awful.
She needs to get drop kicked. Fuck
Have
you,
you
Ren.
seen it? Have you seen her, Paul?
No.
It's a huge controversy online. Like there's
Yeah,
lots
but
of
like
things.
I get so many more likes when I post Asher than when I post real estate
Yeah,
shit.
but this one is
So,
fucked.
like-
And like they show you, like they dive in, and that's why it's creepy. And we've talked about this before
Yeah.
many times. 'Cause,
Parsons, kid's an
my
actor.
kid like does acting, so it's hard to keep them out. If I could, I would. I mean, I could stop her.
Yeah.
I'm stronger than her. But it's
I
getting
seen you
close.
try to fight.
But we have that conversation because like there's benefits to like sharing your life and that stuff, and then there's also these scary parts. But with this whole Ren thing, is that like the comments on these pages are like, you click the person's profile, it's like so beautiful, right? And you click
it's
the
so
profile,
creepy.
and it's like a
they're only following
58-year-old
children.
like Sikh man,
Can
like
I tangent for 1 second? This was the
Yeah.
weirdest fucking thing that has happened. So we were out at a barbecue store with Asher on the weekend.
yeah, Asher's
And
his
my
his
kid.
little
And
dude.
we were at this barbecue store, and this old man who works there, probably even the fucking manager, comes up and he's just like, "I love baby feet." And Jess, I was like looking at grills and stuff, and no, it gets even weirder. So Jess is
Oh,
like,
good, because
"Oh,
I was
cool."
like,
Yeah,
I was
that
so
was-
calm after that first sentence.
That was
I'm just
tame.
gonna bring down this whole fucking episode. And so Jess is like, "Oh," and one of his socks came off, and he's just like, "I love unwalked baby feet," and just smelling them and putting them in my face.
No.
and so 100% true.
Oh, okay, fine. How old is this man? Because I think if he's
Doesn't
like in
matter.
his 70s,
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
70s is okay.
Old Gil in the store,
Right?
like the baby
70s
feet.
man.
Are you using like the Joe Biden excuse of like, he's
Yes.
a silly old man. He
Yes.
can
I
get
mean,
away with
Joe.
whatever he
But it
wants.
was weird.
Was it
and
Joe Biden?
He literally talked about Asher's feet for like 5 minutes, and I was just like, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna go."
Did you buy the barbecue? from
I
him?
still did. Yeah, I
of
actually bought
course.
more.
Good
Yeah.
salesman. It's a good salesman.
Yeah, I bought some
Got a
barbecue
deal
sauce.
because he let him lick his toes.
Anyway, so people are fucking creepy. So that was that.
I've
Yeah.
never seen that sales tactic before. I've never seen that in any
Yes.
training. in a
Sign
boardroom.
up for my course, and I'll get you all the fucking shit.
So so you keep them off, and you have your own kind of private group for that, which is nice because then again you're able to share because people want to see, but you're only
Yeah.
doing it where. And I have a friend like that too. Like my friend Melissa, she has a huge YouTube channel, and she keeps her kids completely off it. Like
So I'm doing it
also
wrong.
like emojis on them.
Yeah, that's what he
But
does.
that's a question though. Like I always wonder, like at that point, like why even put the fucking kid on?
I do very occasionally post a picture like,
like street
with my
cred.
kids, but cover their face because
just
it's like
so you
street
want
cred.
people to know that you actually have kids and
that too. Because there was probably a full year where I didn't even post, and they're like, "Does this guy fucking have kids or not?
is he just
or is he
funny?
just a
He
weird
just-
guy at a barbecue store?"
Yeah.
My dad runs a place. No, but it was just like occasionally it's just like because this is kind of what's going on. We're at the park or we're doing this fun thing, and I'll
Yeah.
either see the back of his head or whatever. Because it's still I want them to be kind of involved a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, I don't post them. Also, with the content I do, I'm not like a family vlogger, so like I
Yes.
don't.
Yeah.
Fucking kids are like terrible actors. I don't know how old your kid is.
Ace
She's
family.
8.
Okay,
She
so
was
that's
just-
different.
Yeah, she's like an
She's
actual
decent.
actor. She was
She's
just in a
good.
movie called The Marsh King's Daughter, which
Yeah.
is with that chick from Star
Daisy
Wars.
Ridley.
Daisy Ridley from Star Wars. Yeah, he's a fucking nerd. I hate Star Wars.
I don't like Star Wars either.
liar. You have a Star Wars? No, it's a Back to the Future tattoo.
Get real, man.
Anyways, go fuck yourself. So what was that one video that just blew you up? Everyone's got like that first, or was it like a gradual?
Well, there was
climax,
so
or-
the growth between the Instagram and the TikTok are two
What's the
wildly
timeline?
different stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Can't wait.
Map it out.
So I was posting car content for
Like
2
car
years.
reviews, like Doug DeMuro stuff.
No, but like kind of funny type of stuff, like
Like that
inside
British
the
guy.
industry stuff, or just like
Okay.
little quips about this. I did a thing where I would just like I called it like roast my ride, and I would just like make fun of people's cars.
Sick.
Without them knowing about it, like filming it on the street or
Sometimes,
like,
yeah, just fully publicly shaming people with their license plates.
Is
in
that
full
where
view.
your handles came from? Like that wasn't directed
yeah?
towards
So
dad. At
Heated
that point.
Seats was actually the name of my podcast.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Was
Got it.
Heated Seats with Tyler Champagne because it was sort of like a car thing, a double entendre. it, if with the podcast, with the seats, heated conversation kind of thing, it was sort of a play on words a little bit. And I just decided to keep it. But so I was posting fully car content. I started like the week before COVID happened. So it was a pretty good time to start an online content
business
for sure.
biz, if you will.
And you didn't have any kids at that point.
No kids.
Right?
So again, I was posting pure car content. And then the day my son was born, I went out to get some diapers because he was born really small. He was like 6 pounds, 5 ounces.
Early? Was he early?
Like 5 days, nothing crazy.
Okay.
But he was just small, and we didn't have any. Like we ran out of newborn diapers like immediately, so I had to go to Walmart to grab some newborn diapers. And I just had this thought of like how crazy, just because I was there, I was involved with the whole birth, and I was just like, this whole concept of birthing a child is like, it makes no fucking sense. It's insane to see it happen.
So insane.
Seems physically impossible.
Yeah.
So I did this video, and literally it's from at this point almost 2.5 years, because my son's closing in on 2.5. It was like I turned the camera around because it was dark. It was January. It was January of 2022. So it was like the worst snowstorm in a decade. My son was born during the snowstorm. So I literally, like, my eyes are red because I'm using the back light on my phone, and I just filmed like a quick 1 minute.
And this
of
is like 4 days or 5 days after he's born.
The day he was born.
Oh, this is the day.
Like I left the hospital to go to Walmart to get diapers, and then drove back.
I think they have like shoppers or something in the hospital.
But it was closed because it was late at night or whatever.
Okay, so you were probably just appreciative to get out though.
I hadn't slept in like, I don't know what it was, 36 hours or whatever, and I just filmed this silly video of just being like, the whole birthing process makes no sense. It's like building a boat in your basement, and you're like, how are you gonna get the boat out? I don't know. We're gonna fucking ram it through the door, and if that doesn't work, we're gonna cut the roof off the house. Shout out to C-sections.
We had a C-section,
and
so that was great.
And that was the first video that, I mean, it got like 2.5 million views, and that's when I was kind of like, oh, okay, so people like the parenting stuff. And then I started posting parenting content on both my Instagram and my TikTok, and it took another full year for it to take off on Instagram.
It's tough, man.
Because I wasn't in that algorithm. I was still in that car world, that car meets algorithm for like a full year, and the TikTok started to take off almost immediately with the parenting stuff.
It blew up first on TikTok.
And then I was still posting like the same videos, like where they would be getting 50 to 100,000 views on TikTok and like 1,100 on Instagram.
It's so weird how that does that.
Yeah. And then I was stuck as of March of 2023. So just over a year ago, I was at 17,000 followers on Instagram, and I had been at 17,000 for 8 months. Just get a little boost and then a huge unfollowing, and then a little boost, and it was just kind of up and down, up and down. And then I just stayed consistent with it, and for whatever reason, I just hit that parenting algorithm on Instagram, and I went from 17,000 to 100 in 4 months.
Holy shit.
And then another 160 since like October of last year.
Was it a lot of like the Toddler podcast stuff that really...
So there was some Miss Rachel stuff I did where it was like Miss Rachel road rage. So like adults using like Miss Rachel phrases and techniques like in road rage to like calm yourself. Like, oh, who caused that accident? Grandma, like using sign language and stuff like that. And those kind of took off. And I've had like, it wasn't one thing that really took it off. I've had like, when you find something that takes off, you like
kind of ride that wave.
You kind of ride that wave, but you see it die out very quickly. Like part 5 or 6, you sort of start to see a heavy decline, I found. But I've had like 10 different like series type of thing of videos.
And is there like and are you like from outside of like the actual apps themselves to kind of get this data and see this fall off? Are you using like, for those who don't know, like additional apps to kind of track the engagement and what's working and what's not? Are there deeper kind of analytics?
Flying by the seat of my fucking pants every single day.
Like just looking and seeing what like just
you can.
Is
I
on
mean,
there.
you can tell what, and then you kind of figure out like what times of day and what days of the week work for you for posting
and how long videos are
and that type of thing, and then the length and that type of thing. But I really have no idea. It's a fucking miracle that I've gotten this many followers on either platform, just because I have no fucking idea what I'm doing.
But yes and no, like the content's fucking phenomenal, right? So like it's you do. I
think what's really, I watched obviously a ton of the stuff before. It's come up in my For You page, obviously, so that's always good. But what I like about a lot of the stuff you do is that like, you talk about like real kind of things that happen that like, it's almost like you said, stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy hits when people can relate to it.
Exactly.
But it's not like clearly relatable. It's not like, oh, doesn't everyone hate taxes? Like we all know, right? It's more like fuck, that's happening to him too, right? And I see that a lot when I watch your videos. It's like I didn't expect someone else to be going through that, and I think that kind of content is what relates the most and probably does real well. Is like those kind of
and in a weird way, it's like it's almost therapy for me, because if I'm going through something, like my son was a terrible sleeper, like he slept through the night from like 2 months to 4 months.
Yeah.
Hit the 4 month sleep regression the week my wife and I got COVID.
Dude,
Oh
so
my
we
God.
sleep 4 month sleep regression, which is arguably the worst.
That's what we just got through that, and it was the fucking worst thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Like up every hour for like 2 weeks.
It doesn't
at
nap.
least.
Like Asher didn't start napping until last week.
Yeah.
And I messaged you.
Joey
'cause-
never napped. Like
Yeah,
this is fucking life. Welcome to it, man.
It's
I have 3
fucking-
kids. 8, 5, and 3.
Which one do you hate the most this week?
Yeah, which one do you hate?
Sonny got into some shit yesterday, so I
Really?
can talk about that in a bit. Sonny's my middle girl, crazy, nuts, fun but crazy. But it's part of it, right? The whole sleep regression, and like, what does your wife think of like how much time do you dedicate to this social stuff, and like what does she say when you're doing these videos, or you're like asking everyone to be quiet, or like take the kids downstairs, I'm gonna make
That's
some
when he does
shit
the
making
hair,
fun of
because
them.
like the toddler fucking, you got the hair all over the place.
Oh yeah, the toddler hair is a huge part of it. If I ever go fully bald, I mean,
You're
fully
fucked.
The whole
fucked.
show's
I'm gonna have
done.
to, yeah, it's over. You know, I try
she's cool
to
with it?
film everything like after the kids are asleep.
Yeah.
And after, you know, chores in the house are done type of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
dishwashers,
Yeah,
you
because
know.
you're still working full time, right?
Yeah, I've worked full time, so I don't post at all during the day or create content at all during the day. So it's all at night, and it's why, you know, some of my videos, like, they're not as well produced as some other people. Like I have a buddy from Florida, Jay Howard, hilarious. Him and I have one kid that's about the same age. He has an older one, but
Yeah.
and he works from home, so he has a lot more time to
Jump in and out.
Yeah.
to do. I mean, his editing skills are phenomenal. So his stuff looks a lot better produced. Whereas sometimes it'll just be like, I think of an idea on my way home and I film it in my car and I quickly post it.
But sometimes those videos that are less produced do better.
A lot of times they do.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the overproduction. Like I have, you know, studio lights that are both the same size as this in my
Yeah.
basement to film like the Toddler podcast
Yeah, yeah.
videos or anything, just so it looks good. And sometimes the most effort, like I'll have a whole script written and there's cuts and this.
They
and
don't
that.
do well.
They don't do as well
Yeah.
as like a 30-second rant in
Yeah.
my car, like on the way home.
Just
but
like good quality audio is all that matters. at the
yeah,
end
but
of
I
the
don't
day.
ignore my children to film content, which I think is important.
Important to
that's good.
say
Yeah.
to all
Important
the
to say.
CAA. What is it? The CAS or what's the children?
CA is the car people. man.
CAA. Yeah, it's also car. What's the children's?
I have no
Children,
idea. Children's aid.
Who do you? Yeah, children's aid. Who do you
Yeah.
call when parents are shitty? Children's aid.
Yeah.
So we have to state for this that we're not neglecting our kids.
Yeah.
To make this content.
Yeah,
You
no, they're
stated.
doing chores. They're doing yard work.
Yeah, that's fine. Make them run their stuff.
Do you ever think about like what they're going to think as they grow up and now know that you're doing this, or you think you're going to kind of evolve and change as time goes on, or do you have no clue yet?
I have no idea. Like again, I fly by the seat of my pants. Like there's
Yeah.
probably at least once a week where I am fully out of ideas and
Okay.
I'm never going to come up with another funny idea ever again.
And then boom.
And then something happens and I go, you know, like the
Nice.
other day I was in one of those lulls, and it just happens as anyone who's in any sort of creative business, or
Yeah.
you get in these funks, right? Like
Yeah.
like writer's block, whatever you want to call it, where I just go like, God damn, I can't think of anything. Or you film a video and it just doesn't feel right. The energy's not there and you're like, this sucks. I was in one of those, like, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and on my way, I was dropping my son off at daycare and I just kind of feeling down about, you know, the creative side of things. And, you know, that's why I spend as much time with my kids as possible, because I just get
you get the
ideas
content.
from them.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I spend time with my
Yeah,
kids is
that's
for
it.
content. No,
That's fine.
And, you know, my son, because he's a toddler, wanted to wear his Crocs to go to daycare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you posted
yeah.
You know the one I'm
that's
talking
great.
about?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's
And the
Dem-
daycare, like my daycare doesn't allow fucking Crocs. Like my kid also wants to wear Crocs every day to daycare. Does your daycare say they don't care? Or
I think he could, but it's
Yeah.
just like,
Why is your
dude? We don't want you to look like
anti-Crocs?
they're anti-Crocs because they do like a lot of like running around
just 'cause they look
activities, and I guess
stupid.
they're not safe. I don't know.
That's
I don't know the
horrible.
fucking rules.
I don't know. Maybe they don't want like your kids looking like it looks like a
It's like-
trailer park with
Yeah,
like
it's
everyone, all
Maybe,
the
oh,
kids
it's a
in
high-end
Crocs.
daycare, so maybe that's it. They only
They're
wear
like,
like
yeah,
penny
they're all
loafers.
smoking cigarettes in their Crocs.
Sleeves are up.
So my son wears his Crocs out. I'm going to take them off at daycare and put proper shoes on. But there's some dew on our grass, and he gets some dew, some
Yeah,
moisture
some
on his
moisture.
Crocs. And then we're walking into daycare,
Slippery
and
Crocs.
even worse, he's saying a phrase, but he's not pronouncing the R in Crocs.
Yeah.
So he's walking in daycare and he's going, my cock's all wet. My cock's all wet. And I was like, whoa, we need to just, can we just chill on
We're
this?
good.
Like, no, he means Crocs. No. He's like waving at all the other parents. No, he means Crocs. So
yet,
just like,
yet all the other parents get it, I'm sure. Like,
yeah,
they're
and then
they
like that, you know,
understand
like
what's
I got in my car after dropping him off and
Wrote it
just
down.
I filmed it right away. Like
Yeah.
it took, you know, it was a 25-second video.
Yeah, what did
and
that hit?
1.7 million, something like that. Like
That's
just
wild.
a crazy number. Whereas the video probably, you know, right before may have hit 250 or 300, but it was like a properly produced thing with lighting and
Yeah.
script and everything. It's just sometimes the stuff you just come up with right away hits.
I love how he says 250, 300, and he means 1,000 when we're like, no, that's what we get. 250,
Yeah,
300.
I mean, listen,
We're
we get content and views and
Yeah,
we do
on
a
you-
bunch of stuff across the board.
Yeah,
This is
YouTube's
just-
our bigger thing.
This is just one of our fun things that we started because
Yeah.
we've been. I mean, a little background on us. We've known each other since kindergarten, long time.
Too fucking long.
And we were both, you know, doing things in different parts of the events and entertainment world. And obviously, Paul's in real estate from like a real job, and I have a bunch of other things. And then just one day he messaged me. He's like, "We should," you know, he's about to have a kid. I have 3 kids at this point.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's just start a podcast about like my, you know, journey to having a kid as kind of like season 1. And then
Here we are.
see where it goes after the kid comes. And it's been fun and exciting. And it's getting, we have no like agenda with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it
we
something
just-
you want to do like full time? Is this like
Is
the
that the
content
goal?
creation?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like a
You like
a
it better
hobby
than stand up?
right now. It's completely different. It's a lot easier. You know, I mean, it like stand up takes like a decade to get remotely good at it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to be out at bars and
I'm a
open mics.
massive stand-up fan. So like
And it's less
see it.
conducive, I guess, to like new dads, right? Like you can't be out every night doing
Yeah,
shit.
it would be a nightmare unless you're already kind of established and like doing clubs or whatever.
And they're
so
calling
this
you
is,
and
you know,
booking you.
I can take 20 minutes out of my day after my kids
For
are
sure.
asleep and film a
throw
video
something
that
out
gets more eyes than, you know, a stand-up clip
Yeah,
ever
that is
would.
the
And I'm not that
benefit.
great at stand-up. I just actually opened for Derek Cahill, who's a very funny guy. His most recent thing is Fuck This House on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Oh yeah, I
But
see
he's a dad as well.
In Toronto or-
And no, he's actually out of Texas.
Got it. So you did it in Texas?
No, we all had like a kind of a content creator meetup in Denver because he had a comedy show there, and I opened for him. I hadn't done stand up in years.
That was a couple weeks ago.
yeah,
Yeah, how was that?
It was a lot of fun. A lot
Yeah.
of fun. It was awesome to get back on stage, but
Yeah.
you
It's
just
a different type of rush
Yeah.
to like please a crowd of whatever 50, 100, 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Than to know like you get the rush when you get like, oh, I have 2 million likes.
it's cool,
different, right?
It's cool, but like again, like I said earlier, it's almost like a therapy thing for me, where like I'm going through these things, and then I post a video about it, and sometimes I don't even think it's that funny. It's more of just like a, hey, here's something that happened to me. And then the comments and the DMs start firing up of just people being like, "Oh, I'm going through this too."
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, and it's almost a thing of like, "Oh, I'm actually not alone." Like, so as much as it's like healing in a way for people who watch it,
For sure.
it does the same fucking exact thing for me.
Yeah.
It's like
where
this
I go,
with us.
shit, I actually am not alone. It does make me feel better. And then people, you know, sometimes people will do like, you know, suggestions or things that worked for them, and
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, let's try this thing. The one thing that never worked is brushing my son's fucking teeth. And no suggestion has ever
What, he
worked.
fights
It's a
it completely?
UFC fight
Every time?
every single time. It's a disaster, but I mean, eventually, well, I'm sure we'll get there.
I hope so.
He's only
And
two
they
bit.
got baby teeth. Like who gives a shit
True.
about those ones?
Or you
Like
just
they're gonna
get
fall
grills.
out. The dentist will tell you that they're important, but they're not important.
They're
Dentists.
not. No. Yeah, dentists.
Dentists,
Yeah,
right?
it's like a fake doctor.
Dentist,
It's
am
like
I
a-
right?
It's like a chiropractor. Was I tucked? Was I untucked?
You're anti-dentite bastard.
So parenting styles, like what translates from you on camera to you as being an actual dad? Like,
Yeah, like do you ever
are there-
exaggerate the whole like, you know, your reactions on camera, but in reality you're like a lot more soft or
Yeah,
gentle.
I'm not like a violent parent, if that's what you're asking.
So
No,
my kids, I punched him in the face.
it's, you
Like
know,
and subscribe.
I'm as involved as I can be.
For sure.
You know, trying to break that mold of like, you know, you talk to like, you know, I had coworkers come up to me when I first had my kid, being like, you know, 3 weeks in, being like, "Have you changed a diaper yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like dozens."
Yeah, I know,
yeah,
right?
dozens. Is
That's
that
what
the-
normal modern
Don't
day
tell
dads
me you're
do.
not
Listen,
a diaper
I'm
changer.
at like 4.
He has like, and his kid's 6 months. He's fucked. He's fine. He talks as if it's normal. I changed like 4 before we left the hospital, at least. Obviously,
Yeah.
way more than that, I think. But Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
different
it's like,
world.
listen, I shine in other areas of fatherhood than
right.
changing
List
the
them.
diapers.
Bring Jess down. Let's ask her.
Yeah. But you know, it's obviously some of the stuff is exaggerated, but a lot of it is like pretty close to what happened.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Again, when I'm
What are
playing
your
my
thoughts on
son,
it?
when I'm playing my son or like doing the toddler character, obviously that's a little bit exaggerated because he doesn't
Yeah.
have that
It's just pure
vocabulary.
chaos all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So, but again, that's why I don't feature my kids. I couldn't get him to act in that shit. He's fucking 2. It'd be
Yeah.
terrible. My videos would stink, and the editing would be impossible. So that's
Yeah.
why I pretend to be my son. And then
bring up
occasionally people
convenience.
will be like, "Wow, cringe!" An adult playing their child, cringe, and I go, blocked.
The
Yeah,
word
exactly.
cringe is cringe, so
Yeah, I'm
that's
over
enough to block them.
Exactly.
Let's
so,
check that out. Yeah.
but yeah, it's
So what time do you leave for work? Like, are you there in the morning for like morning like routines and evening routines and all that
yeah,
stuff?
like it's I'm leaving for work at like 7:30. So usually
it's
my
not
son's
bad.
having breakfast and rubbing yogurt all over fucking
That's what we're
everything.
at right now. Yeah.
But he's like 2, so it's like, can you not? Like this morning, he put him in a shirt. Like, oh god, his outfit like kind of matches. My wife's fantastic at that. If you had like a gun to my head and we're like pick an outfit for him that
It'd just be
matches, I'd be
just
like,
Crocs.
just fucking shoe me instead. Yeah, it would just be like the Crocs wouldn't even
Well,
match.
it's like we're all kind of matching right now. So
Yeah.
Plan this. We're all in black. We look like we're
Yeah.
so
Cult.
Stagehands.
in a boy band maybe.
Yeah,
but
it's fine.
yeah, but like the Crocs wouldn't even match. Like I'd have different colored Crocs on him somehow. We wouldn't even have that.
so
But
she lays it out for you, or she fully dresses him.
she'll like grab it while I'm like wrestling to change his diaper or whatever,
Yeah.
or brush his teeth. And then this morning he doesn't eat the toast I make for him, of course. Requests dinosaur shaped toast. So
Wait, how the fuck do you do
They have
dinosaur?
sandwich cutouts.
free-handed. No, I use a sandwich
Yeah.
cutter.
Okay.
So I guess it's like a cookie cutter, but you can use it for. There's
Yeah,
a Mickey
bread.
Mouse one, a dinosaur one. He's big into dinosaurs right now, so I make him 2.
And you can make your own, what's it called, which you love, Uncrustables, because they kind of seal it too.
Yeah, I'm
so
a massive Uncrustable fan.
they're great.
dino-shaped Uncrustables,
Yeah,
dude. It would
it's
change your
actually-
fucking
Change
life,
your life.
probably.
Goldies, that should be your next fucking move.
Well, we've looked into it.
Yeah.
It failed. Go
So I
on.
make him a beautiful spread. 2 pieces of dinosaur toast, a little fruit, little yogurt.
Like Jurassic
He
Park.
immediately goes and doesn't want any of it, and then goes and grabs the peanut buttered toast off my wife's plate, of course. But it's like she's breastfeeding too, so like she needs nutrition as
Yeah,
well
yeah.
for our daughter. And then just, wiping like from elbow
Just
to
takes
chest.
But is he
toast?
dressed at
Waist,
this point?
fully dressed to go to
And he
daycare.
Yeah,
just, like,
that's your mistake.
Puts
You
it-
got to get him dressed after breakfast.
After breakfast.
I
So
know.
we now bring their clothes down. He just comes straight down.
Wait,
my
so
3-year-old.
they all
same
just
kind-
eat fucking naked?
No, like my 8 and 5-year-old. No,
best.
they're in their pajamas still from the
Yeah.
night before.
Oh.
So he comes down. They don't sleep naked. He comes down.
I'm doing so many things
and
wrong.
he eats and ruins it with whatever. Doesn't matter. Cereal is still fucking. He's covered.
Yep.
And then when we're ready to walk out the door, we put him on the couch, and that's when we change him so that he's clean. But this is what you need to do. I don't know if you thought about this, and we've done this a couple times, but it takes some planning from that thing. Is you need to make like fake meals for your wife that are meant for him. So put it
Do
in
you see the
front.
psychological warfare that goes into parenting?
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying.
no, this is
So
insane.
you make it for her, put it in front of her, but it's really for him. That's what you want him to eat because they always want what you have.
Yeah.
So you make a fake meal.
It's fucking blowing your mind, dude.
No, this is like,
a
I'm just
modern
like, this
day.
is.
Because he's got one, right?
Yeah.
And he's 6
and
months.
We're only doing one.
And so he's just leaving that amoeba mode, like when they can
Yeah, he's
finally
just
do
all
shit.
smiles.
So
and
starting to
laughing.
eat solids, probably
Start-
pouches.
Yeah, like not. Yeah, so he does like he likes
Sweet
oatmeal. He's done
potato.
berries. He's done the sweet potato shit. Avocado. We gave him egg. Choked on it. That's fine.
Just
That's
a full egg.
Yeah.
horrible. Like baby led weaning is fucking
Scary.
absolutely terrifying because
Yeah.
like you have to like kind of let them figure it out, but
Yeah.
you're also like they're choking.
He'll be dead.
Like this morning, my son, because he has peanut butter toast, real sticky,
Yeah.
right? So he has a huge mouthful of peanut butter toast, and he starts like
It's like cinnamon in their
coughing.
Yeah,
mouth.
'cause you
It's like
can't-
glue. It's like concrete.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
and he starts like looking like he's kind of choking. I'm like, "Hey, buddy, are you okay?" And then he just looks up at me and smiles. I'm like, "Fuck, dude! Like this is. I thought you were in
You
legitimate
stop
danger."
breathing for one of my kids after she got her tonsils out would just be very emotional. I don't know if it has any of your kids. No, obviously not the
They're
2 months
He's
old.
two.
My 2-year-old's gotten.
No,
he had
2
his
is-
adenoids
yeah,
removed and
adenoids.
tubes
At
in his
2?
ears.
Yeah.
Tubes in his ears.
Tubes in
Yeah,
his ears.
yeah.
What was that? What?
Oh,
It's
get
so
ready.
he can hear ghosts. No,
Oh, that's fucking- I
It's
see.
to-
So he
it's to
doesn't see dead
It's for
people.
fluid drainage so that they get less ear infections,
Yeah.
which he still has had to since then. But
Yeah, it doesn't help. But she would cry often. She'd be very emotional. Often happen, and she would like turn purple because she would, you know, when babies are crying, you have to blow in their face and shit to get them to recatch their breath.
Never.
Because they
I
just
haven't
go
done
silent when they're crying. You haven't had that yet?
No. My kids are normal.
And so she would just do that until she passed out. Yeah, normal. We'll see. We'll see. Your kid is 800 pounds. You roll him down the stairs.
Listen, he's training for to be a heavyweight.
He's a
John
big
Jones,
guy.
if he'll still be attempting to fight, he'll just fuck him up.
You called out a lot of UFC fighters
I
in this
will-
podcast.
I know.
We are,
Yeah.
we're fucked.
Listen,
Does that make you Brian Callen?
Yeah, a little bit. But it's scary. Eating shit is scary.
in general,
And it
just in
only
general,
gets worse.
Yeah, and then they kind of figure it out a little bit, but then they have those moments where like you're like, all right, I'm going to you know necessarily say this out loud, but in your head you're like, all right, I'm gonna go walk to the fridge.
Yeah.
Don't fucking die in the next 10 seconds. And
Yeah.
of course
he's like upside down.
But the good news is if they're making noise, that means they're not.
They're
dying.
yeah.
When it goes silent, that's when it gets real
And they go
scary.
silent.
So noise is good.
Yeah.
Silence is bad.
Silence
Yeah,
is bad.
if they looks like they're choking and they're making noise, that means
Let
that
And
they're
they're
breathing.
smiling
That
and
means they're
laughing.
breathing.
Or
Yeah.
they're a sadist masochist.
Are you the kind of
but that's
parent
fine.
that like freaks out though during that moment? Like my wife, like will be like, oh my god, like, and I'm like, just stay fucking calm. Like,
Yeah, who's
there's
like
nothing
the-
we can do.
the
Like,
chill one between
are you
you and
guys
your
both
wife?
pretty chilled? Yeah.
Not really. Yeah, I'd say we're both fairly chill. Like I'll kind of like watch, attentively watch and be like, let's kind of
Make sure
play this out
yeah.
for just a second.
Yeah.
You don't want to play it too long. You're like, he's acting.
It's different shades of blue.
He's doing a character called Roadkill.
Yes.
Where no, it's I try not to freak out that stuff, but you learn as well that like they're master manipulators. And just listen up for this part. My son the other day bonked his head on like the handle of our kitchen cabinet.
Yep.
But didn't know that I saw. Fucking got up and walked right away. Earlier in the day, he
Same
had hit
thing.
it not even close to as hard, but I was there,
Yeah.
and
And
it
he
was a
cried.
big fucking deal.
Okay, so maybe he does have a career in acting.
No, but and then at that point, every kid does because that's such a common thing. Is that like
They don't.
if
They
you-
want your
if
reaction.
If you react, they go worse. I never react. My wife's name's Jamie. She's a big reactor. And so obviously they put on a show. But you ever see those videos online where like it was a huge like trend where like the baby's holding and they'd walk by and the parent would knock on the wall and then they rub the baby's head. Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And he didn't touch his head and they just start bawling.
Really?
There's so many videos like that. They're really,
So
really
kids
funny.
are
And-
assholes.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much like
well,
Yeah,
baby.
that's kind of the point.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the whole social account is kids are assholes.
Kids are assholes.
Yeah.
Are you gonna just stay at 2? You gonna go for 3?
I think so. Like,
Yeah.
First of all, you said you have
We're only
one and
doing
you're
one.
staying one.
Yeah.
I
I chopped my balls off. already.
was.
Are you an only child?
No.
No,
Okay.
okay. So
I have one full sibling and 3 half siblings.
All right.
My
Well,
dad.
yeah.
My
Like
dad
what?
had
Top half or bottom half? Yeah, but
right side.
That's a dad
Oh,
joke
shit.
if I've
Right,
ever
it's
heard one.
right side. Yeah, they can't turn left. What the fuck are we talking about?
How many kids are you gonna have? Sorry,
Oh
I
yeah.
said we
So
tangent a lot.
I totally understand. Like I was pretty judgy, before having kids. Of like, God, it's so selfish having one kid, and then you have one kid, and you're like,
is
whoa,
the
I
best.
fucking the one and done. I fucking totally
That's
understand.
right.
it. We wanted to.
Okay, so she wasn't an
Okay, remind me to
accident.
tell you a story.
Keep
I
going.
don't
We got
want
time.
to tell
There's
this,
no end
but
to this.
the story of how I found out that my wife was pregnant with our second is fucking hysterical. So I'll get to that in just a
Okay,
second.
I'll,
But don't let
I'll,
me forget.
I'll re-remind you.
So yeah, we had we planned on having 2. We wanted about a 2-year age gap. It's 26 months, pretty
Yeah.
fucking close.
That's
So it's kind of perfect. A boy and a girl.
No problems, no troubles like with the pregnancy of getting pregnant.
So this is kind of where that
Okay,
story comes in.
okay,
So I may
okay,
as well
well,
tell
hold
it
on.
right now.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This
Here
is
we
perfect
go.
timing. So
Let's do it.
again, we wanted to kind of have a 2-year age gap. So you're kind of planning it out. You're doing like
Why two?
sex math because it's one of each. You're not outnumbered, right? You can still you don't.
No, sorry. Why 2-year age gap?
Oh, 2-year age gap. We talked to a bunch of people. My cousins have kids that they're about 2 years apart, and it seems like 2 to 3 seems like a pretty good age
All
gap.
mine are 3, and we kind of plan 3 for a specific
Which
reason.
is pretty because you don't want them too close because that's insane because then
Yeah.
they're going through the same phases at the same time.
Yeah.
And you don't want them 5 to 7. Like I think
Because then
my
you're starting again from the beginning. and
from
you feel
scratch
like,
and then you have to buy all new shit because some of it ages, right? Like you can't use the same car seat because they have
Yeah.
expiration dates and all that shit. So we were deciding that we wanted to, and we're trying to plan it out. And to go way back to middle school, I had multiple, let's say, testicular surgeries because I got.
Okay.
I got kicked. I got real damaged.
You got kicked in the nuts?
Was
by
it
a nice lady.
What? Oh, wait. I was like a kid in my class. A nice lady. Does she like
was-
baby feet?
No, she was. Her dad owned a barbecue
work
shop.
at a
It's so
barbecue
weird. No, she was in my grade. I said lady because like she's my age now, but we were both children at
Are
the
you
time.
still close with her?
No, I didn't talk to her much after
that.
the event.
That makes sense.
The ball kicking of 2004
bad.
or whatever it was. I literally walked up to her and I said, "Oh, no, I like your shoes," and she went, "Oh, really?" And then hoofed me in the balls.
No.
To a point where you had to get surgery?
It caused a thing with like fluid and just a nightmare. So I had to have 2 surgeries.
My
'cause the
stomach
first,
hurts just hearing about this.
because the first one didn't work because they did it wrong, and then the second one, anyways. So some traumas happened to the boys.
Okay.
Just
Alright.
to be
So
frank,
you were
right?
unsure of your success rate.
Exactly. So then the first time, like my son, we had tried like twice, and she got pregnant. So I was like, oh, okay, the swimmers are still working,
Good.
right? Olympic level. And then the second time, we'd been trying for like 4 or 5 months, and nothing was happening. So we were like, oh, whatever. And then our doctor was like, if it gets to the point where it's been 6 months, we're gonna send me for some testing,
okay.
right?
Yeah, because he knew your story. Like, it's not like they suspected that it was your wife.
Yeah, probably.
Gotta go.
I think it's a lot easier to test.
Well, yeah, you
a
just
dude. You just have
freaking
to
go in a
jizz
cup,
in a
man.
cup, right?
Yeah,
So
It's a
we
win-win
got a
for
mug
everyone.
here if you want to freaking go again. It's
The
fine.
Bayside guy.
yeah, the upsetting part is that the ones over there are full, which
Yeah.
is odd. I thought they would at least
Yeah,
be
that's-
empty.
Listen, it was,
Clean up before the guests come.
They don't even have a
God's
lid on
sakes.
it, dude. It smells like chlorine in here. So at about 5 months, I started to have some like swelling again.
Oh, fuck.
in the area.
Yeah.
So the doctor was like, "Look, it's been 5 months of trying and nothing. So we're just gonna send
Wait, you were
for the
going
testing."
so hard that your nuts started swelling.
In
It could have
relation
been
to
unrelated.
injury.
It could have
What
been.
are
It
you
could have been
guys
related
into,
to
man?
sports,
Yeah, whatever.
or working out, whatever.
Or just some
So-
weird, just some weird shit. But that's
So our
cool.
doctor was like, just you know what, just go get tested,
Yeah.
and we'll just to make sure that nothing's wrong.
Start writing it off.
So I'm looking. First of all, when you think of this testing, you think of like in the movies where
Yeah.
like you go to a place, they send you to a seedy room, they
Yeah.
hand you a magazine that's 20 years old and 80% of the pages are stuck together.
Yeah.
You deposit
Yeah.
in a cup and then you give
it
it
at
to
the
them and then
counter.
you leave. It doesn't work like that in real life.
Really?
You have to bring it yourself. Okay.
Really?
Oh, from home?
So here's where the story gets fun. Okay.
Wait a second, because I did it at a facility.
Did you?
You went into a thing?
Yeah, unless they were just lying to me and they just wanted to
Dude, it
watch
was
me
an
jerk off
Arby's.
into
It was a Home Depot.
Yeah, you sat on a toilet at a Home Depot, dude. That's not a facility.
and
Whatever.
were arrested.
Greg was gentle.
So this is in Waterdown.
so
So
it's
you got to
not.
bring it in yourself.
So I look up like it's like the Life Labs places,
Oh,
right? Which is
okay.
where like you
Yeah,
donate
yeah.
blood, I almost said donate urine as if like that's a thing. Where you like give urine or blood
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
semen apparently to
Yeah.
get like tested for whatever.
So you're at home.
So I'm like, I go to the thing being like, think that I'm going to like do this deposit.
Yeah.
Right. And the lady like hands me the cup and she goes like, you have to book an appointment to drop it off and you have to do this at home. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I go online and I figure out, long story short, that you have to make an appointment to drop it off.
Yeah.
You have to, but the deposit has to be made within 45 minutes of
my-
you
oh
dropping
my.
it off.
And refrigerated.
I work an hour from home.
Okay.
Do you guys see where this is going?
I am
did-
excited to
So
see where this is going.
was your car
So
content.
let's just say I got back to the car content. I was in my truck
No.
behind, and I'm not going to say what type of business I was parked behind, but they have everyday low prices, and their prices end in sevens.
How tinted are your windows?
They're
Tinted
illegally
enough.
tinted,
Okay.
tinted enough.
Tinted.
So I have to do this fucking deposit
Okay, I need the whole picture.
because you have 45. I'll draw you a picture later.
Yeah.
So I have to because I can't do it at home, and I'm not doing it at fucking work, dude. Like,
And there's no Life Labs closer to where you live or
it's just
work?
I wanted the appointment right away, and
Yeah,
like
and this is
everything was
available.
booked up. Apparently, there was like I don't know, like a
Did you-
semen problem going around in June.
Semen
Of,
shortage?
there's a shortage of semen. I don't know.
Did your wife know that you were doing this in your truck?
Was this during the day? Like full daylight?
Yeah, dude. Like lunchtime.
Chair reclined in the back seat? Like
I
where
put the
are
heated
you?
seat on. I'm gonna romance myself a little. Okay.
Take yourself out for a nice like McDonald's
after.
dinner.
Yeah, I put on like a Hawaiian air freshener. I made it nice, dude. I'm
That's
not
awesome.
a creep.
Yeah, you're not a pervert.
So I do the deposit, and I bring it to the place, and I'm like, I have it in like my lunch bag because I'm so ashamed. It's
You
like
accidentally mix up your thermos.
no,
You're
thank
like,
God.
Oh, fuck.
My God, this clam chowder tastes like
That
shit.
Yeti.
Why did
is-
I not pack enough? This is a. Anyways,
Milk was
you're
a
like,
bad
because it's
choice.
like, first of all, it's in a clear cup with an orange lid. It's the same ones that you pee into.
Yeah, the P ones.
So you're like
Oh,
kind of
God.
self-conscious. You're like, is this a lot? Is it not?
Oh, dude, 100%.
Is the color weird?
I thought the exact same thing. I was
Does
like, there
it
should be. I'm
taste
like, there's
off?
usually more. I swear.
You're
there's
like,
usually-
is this like?
Did you save
when
up
it's-
though? Did you like in
have
preparation
to.
knowing like are you?
There's
you
a
have
certain
to.
there's rules. Like you can't have done anything to yourself
Yes.
against the Lord within 3 days,
Yeah.
or like beyond 7 or something. There's like a
and
window.
your wife can't help you.
No,
You have to.
which is like,
freehand it.
how would they? No,
How
but
they
like,
help us? Like grade 9 hand jobs.
Yeah.
Like it's got to
Grade
go
9,
somewhere.
I was grade 7. But it's fine.
Yeah, big boy.
So that got me off guard. So I'm like, fuck, whatever. So I'm like embarrassed. Like you're self-conscious about this because you're like carrying this in a fucking container. So I have wrapped it in a paper bag and then in my lunch bag. And then there's no parking at the Life Labs place.
Okay.
But there's like paid parking. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay to like just drop this off.
You
So I
pull in
park
front.
like around the. So I'm like walking. It's like 34 degrees Celsius. It's
Oh,
last
no.
June. I'm carrying this awfulness in a bag to the place, and I go, just please let there not be that many people in the waiting room. I don't want to have to deal with this.
Oh, my
I walk
God.
into the place. There's like one person sitting at a chair. I'm like, fuck, perfect. I go through another door. There's like 14 people, 7 aside,
All with
like
paper bags.
like sitting like as if you're the receptionist, and they start here. So there's a ton of people. It's packed. That was like a secondary waiting room, like an overflow waiting room.
And they've all been freaking getting down and dirty with themselves.
Well, they're there for
It's-
other reasons. It
could be
blood.
it could be
tests
blood or
urine.
or
That's it.
urine,
It's
but
all semen for me.
There's
But at
fluids coming out of people.
1:15,
Yeah.
on a
Fluids are coming
Thursday.
out of people. It was like the
Wow.
middle of the day. It was hot. I walk up to the front, and I'm like, oh God, I'm like clutching it because I'm like, again, you're self-conscious about it. I hand it to the lady, just being like, here's my, like trying to whisper. She's like, can you
What?
fill this form out? Like handing it, and I have to go back and sit down with it.
You're looking at the clock.
I'm
You're
like-
like, my time. I have 45 minutes.
I'm like, this is getting bad here. So
How close was the location that you stopped to Life Lab? So how much like window did you have there? Did you get as close as possible?
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
want to like.
You didn't want to cut it close.
I didn't
You
wanna
weren't,
cut it
like
too
20
close.
minutes in, but
No,
still
yeah.
25 minutes to go.
I didn't want to like to be like that exciting. Like it was
Yeah.
44 minute drive. Like I have to make this. I have to make every
like a
green
fucking
light.
like Mission
Cage movie.
Impossible.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say
It
Nick
is like a Nick
Cage.
Cage movie. Yeah. The Seaman Hunter or whatever. so I fill out the form, drop the thing off, and I'm just like, that was so fucking humiliating. Like all of that happened that afternoon was just like, I'm in this like shame spiral. That's
Yeah.
just like never ending. I'm like, I can't believe that happened. I'm sweating because it's hot, and also I'm embarrassed.
Your wife must have been dying.
I get home. There's 3 positive pregnancy tests on the fucking counter.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding you.
fucking amazing.
The day of, so like probably within hours of me doing the
Jesus
horrible, ungodly things to myself,
It was all for nothing.
she's peeing on a stick.
She
and
pranked you.
All 3 of them are positive, and I go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I go, "Do you understand the
What
afternoon that I had?"
through. But you, at the same time, you're so excited and happy.
Yeah.
And still yet so ashamed and embarrassed.
So I'm in. It's this weird. You shouldn't have those 2 emotions at the same time because I'm in this like irreversible shame spiral, but also so happy that we're
that it worked. And you
that
don't
it
have to
worked.
go through this anymore.
Then like 4 days later, I get a call from the doctor's office. They're like, "We got your results." I'm like, "Can I fucking guess what they
good?
are?"
Are they great?
I'm like, "My wife's pregnant. You don't need to tell me." So that's the story of how I
Or that
found
could have
out.
gone like the
That's-
complete wrong way where they're like, you
You will
can't-
never have kids.
Oh, and I'd be
You're
like,
fuck you. I
"Honey,
can't."
come here for a second. I have a question."
Yeah, where
That
what
was
does this
similar
kid
to
look
us
like?
though, because we were at the fertility clinic and same thing. I had to go, but it was like a little booth. I went in the fucking cup. Everyone was in there. It
Yeah,
was
that's the
at,
difference
like-
between like a private clinic and a government clinic.
But what I'm saying,
Yeah,
but,
they're like, "Just jerk off in your
Just
car."
jerk off at Walmart.
but we were pregnant.
Did they have your address? Like, could they put 2 and 2 together? Like the lady at the desk, she's like, wait a minute, it says according to MapQuest, you're
like,
an hour and 12 minutes.
MapQuest,
away.
yeah, she's 120. This lady.
There must be
She's like,
people surrounding
"You
the
must
building.
have driven quick or done it in traffic,
You
sir."
fucking pervert. Here's
Yeah,
my
you're
number.
sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the story of how I found out we were pregnant with our second. It's
That's
quite funny.
amazing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And a good.
And I
relief,
think that's a
yeah.
good family story to share with him one day.
Yeah,
As he gets older and he starts, doing his own thing.
yeah. I'd be like, "Hey, you want to hear a funny?"
It doesn't get any lower than this, son. So, like,
Yeah.
because I'm sure he'll have embarrassing
Yeah,
situations.
the only thing lower is the prices of the place that parking lot I did it in.
This is, that could be a commercial for that. It's like,
Who knows? Maybe they'll want to collab
They'll
on
pick
it.
up
I
on
doubt
that.
it.
You should just we'll collab that company with this.
have you
clip.
ever
doubt
dropped
it.
off? Have you ever had to drop off just because it reminded me of like urine from your kids? Have you ever had to do that yet?
No,
Like the bag that you have to tape to their fucking like
What?
groin.
no, I haven't.
Oh, okay, so like sometimes when kids get like like infections, right?
Yeah, I
like
think
urine
I took-
infections or any type of like urinary tract
I
infections.
think I pooped on a plate once, so my parents had to take that in.
No, your parents were just abusive.
Yeah, you were 30 and you ruined Thanksgiving.
This was last week. Yeah.
Yeah. Get out, Paul. But no, when they're young enough and they need some sort of urine, whatever, they can't pee. Like they're not potty trained yet, and you're not whatever. So they have these like sacks, these clear plastic bags, like a plastic bag version of the orange cup, and you have to tape it here and like around them, and it captures it, and then you have to take it off and seal it right away, and that's a fucking like
Oh, I would smell
Worst
all over
water
the place.
balloon ever.
Yeah, don't do that in your truck.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
No, that one can
Make a
last
mess.
longer, but you have to put it in your fridge. But it's hard to do the urinary tract stuff when they're not like able to, pee in a toilet yet.
Yeah.
So
Dude, when your kids are sick, it's the fucking worst.
Worst.
First of all, they
Asher's
spread
been
it to
sick.
you
Yeah.
immediately.
yeah, and you only have one in daycare now. Wait till you get two.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're just, I think they like give out diseases. They're
They
like,
do.
do you want
It's
like
Cheerios or a
Pokemon.
chest infection? Yeah. It's fucking terrible.
Fucking, here's tuberculosis.
Have you ever gone to like I'm sure you have, like an event where it's like, oh, we're doing like a sing along and the parents can come or whatever, and you go there
Yeah.
and just every kid is just snotting
Red,
down the
snotty,
face, and you're
it's
like,
disgusting.
this is fucking
They
disgusting.
used to do that when we were kids with the fucking chickenpox party, and they
Yeah,
like,
they
made
used
us
to
all
do
like
that.
make out and shit.
We didn't
What?
make
No,
out.
it's
Dude,
Whoa.
you're the
Yeah,
shit
just
out.
weird memories. Listen, we had very
where was
different
this?
upgrowing.
Nickelodeon?
But yeah, exactly. We did a whole
Holy.
episode on that one.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
So were
And
you thinking about having a third? Like,
after
Is that
all
where this
that,
conversation
it's just,
started?
yeah,
that's where
where
it
it
was going.
started.
Yeah.
I think we're good for now.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously, it's a emotional, financial, there's a lot
It's
of
a
things that
lot.
go into it.
Well, you're gonna have the overlap. That was my motivation. Just so you picked the 2-year mark. We picked the 3-year mark because none of our kids overlapped in daycare. And so before the
True,
government funded it, which brought it down a bit, I don't know if you were able to take advantage of that, but before the government started giving you a little bit, $10 a day, whatever the fuck it is, it's very expensive. So
$10 a day.
it adds up. It actually is a lot more than you think. When you say $10 a day, it sounds cheap, but it's like
Sounds
$700
like
or $800
it's-
bucks off of a $1,700 or $2,000 a month thing. So it's
Fucking
it's
daycare.
40% or whatever it is.
Okay.
But yeah, so 3 years is perfect because no kid overlapped in daycare
True.
or diapers.
But you were also
That's
you're
smart.
3 years with your sister. I'm 3 years with my
Yeah,
brothers.
and I also had a good relationship with my sister, and we're 3 years apart. So to
So
me,
did a
it
lot
made
of
sense.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone in high school had a good relationship with her.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah, that's
mean?
How many
No.
kids does she have?
2.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah, not that bad.
You have more.
All
I
from
have
the same
more.
dad too.
Yeah,
Against
Yes.
all odds.
Yeah, seriously.
Against all
She's,
odds.
yeah.
She's on her way to the top. I don't know.
So what's next for the content? Like, where do you see it going?
I don't know. It may get to a point where I have to have more kids just to keep
Just
the
keep
it
content
going.
We
train
can
going.
adopt them, like freaking. Who's that celebrity that adopts all the kids?
It was like Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt and
Angelina
yeah.
Jolie.
They did that for a while. I mean, they weren't even creating content. So
No.
what is that really
It's
about?
like no Ace
waste just
family.
for love.
At least do it for likes.
Do you
Yeah.
think? Do you think you would go the family like YouTube route?
I don't think so. I mean, if it gets to a point where my son wants to be in videos and he
Yeah,
can
and he
consciously make
starts
that decision,
Being
then,
aware of what you're doing.
yeah, then for sure. He'll just if I can't even create content with him around because it's just
Too much
he
chaos.
loves looking at pictures
Yeah.
and videos of himself. Like I'm sure any
Yeah.
2-year-old or psychotic 31-year-old does, but it's he's if I'm trying to do a story just in the backyard while playing whatever, he always wants to walk over and
course,
see what's going
ruin the
on
shot.
and just ruin it, dude. This I can't cut your audio out. This is an Instagram story. So again, if it's to the point, it would have to be something where it's they want to do it. I'm not going to force my kids.
Yeah, before
into
they have a
doing
choice of understanding.
Yeah,
what they
because there's a
want.
lot
Yeah.
of. I guess there's a lot of families that do that. That they just
There's so
kind of
many
throw them into it.
Yeah, and there's so many again, what works for one family doesn't work for another one, and
Yeah.
there's a fine line in this whole world that we're figuring out of social media. But you got to kind of just play by again. With my daughter being an actress, she asked to do it too. Even she was 5, right? And she's we were home during COVID. She had a little YouTube thing that she liked to do, which was Joey's Kitchen, where she liked to cook shit, and it was cute. And then we watched a lot of movies. We were home during COVID, and I had a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and one kid was born during COVID.
Yeah.
So we watched a lot of fucking movies. And she's like, oh, I want to be like, why is that kid there? I want to do that. And she was like smart, and she's, able to talk and express her emotions. So we helped her kind of get to where she wanted to be. But if we get to a point where she's like, I hate this, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to get up for this, then I've always said it, then it's done. And I guess the same thing goes with this. Like he'll eventually see what you're doing if you're still up and running and still excited about it yourself.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, yeah, I want to be in this. And
it's possible. And again, I'd be totally down for that. But again, it's a thing where you don't want to become like one of those like Dr. Phil moms where it's like you're trying to live vicariously through them. Like, you will fucking act in this soup commercial.
Yeah,
because this was my dream and I never achieved it.
Those soup. Paul hates soup, so he'll never do a commercial.
Soup?
Yeah.
You'd hate my wife, dude. She's Portuguese. She loves making soup.
I can't. I like
so good soup.
I like chili. I don't like fucking soup. I don't like warm. I don't get hot coffee. I get iced coffee all year round.
You don't like warm things in cups? Stay out of my fucking truck, dude.
I know, seriously.
And on that note, so that's awesome, man. So what do you think? Are you having a good time?
I love being a parent, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's stressful, but like the good moments are so good.
Yeah.
And then the bad moments are so fucking bad.
Was
like,
it something you
forgetful,
always wanted to do? Like to be a kid?
I was just gonna say for those down times, those horrible, like let's say sleep regressions when they were like 4 months, but now he's 2. They're almost like distant memories, and you really kind of only remember all the highlights for the most part, right? Like, it doesn't. When you're in it, it's so much worse than when you look back. It seems like a million years ago.
Whenever we were talking to our parents about Asher not sleeping and like freaking out and just having a rough time, they're like, "Oh, well, it passes." But when you're in that moment, that's like the last fucking thing you want to hear.
It's your whole universe.
You feel like it's never gonna end.
Yes,
and then when you realize that, like, okay, let's say worst case scenario, this is 2 weeks. You're like, I can fucking do 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? Like COVID was fucking 3 years. You're like, nothing that we're going to be going through with a baby is going to last long. Hopefully, in most things where it's a regression or something like that, it's a couple weeks or a sickness or my son got hand, foot, and mouth like 2 months ago.
I just heard about this thing.
Dude, it's fucking insane.
It's frightening. Yeah, it's like Walking Dead
worst thing. Dude, it's awful. Like,
where do you get, like, were you in a farm? Like, what the fuck? How do you get that?
These kids are like, they're like fucking sheep rolling in shit.
They brew these diseases. When we think they're reading and singing Miss Rachel songs, they're fucking brewing diseases in the daycares. Because he got it, like, it was to the point where the one night, it was probably, again, this is kind of the thing like you just mentioned, like the bad times kind of pass and you sort of forget them and you only remember the good times. Yeah. I would say that this night, a couple months ago, when my son had HFM, was like, it was probably our worst night as parents. Yeah. Just because maybe it was more recent, but also just we were trying to give him medicine. He has sores all over his mouth, all over his feet, all over his tongue, his lips.
And you also don't want to get it yourself.
You don't want to get it yourself. So you're trying to like...
You can get it?
Yeah.
Not just babies?
It's worse when adults get it, I've heard.
Way worse.
Because
I posted
everything we get is worse when we get it.
So, because it's something you don't usually deal with, probably. So
like pink eye and shit.
So my son, like, he's covered in sores and everything. He was having he had like 4 popsicles for dinner because it was all that he could literally put
give them what they want
his
to
mouth.
calm them down.
And we're trying to give him Tylenol. And he can't because he has sores in his throat and it hurts to swallow. So we're trying to like jam Tylenol. I'll be like, this is going to help you. And you can't explain to a fucking 2-year-old that this is going to help you. So we're trying to like force it in and he's spitting it out. And it's just like he was.
And now your measurements are off. Like, did he swallow any milliliters?
Did he get some? Yeah. Did he not? Like, how much can we actually give him if he does take it? It got to the point, like, I think he screamed. My wife was still pregnant at the time. So this is probably 3 months ago. Yeah. So he screamed. Like, I'm talking like, on the ground, smashing his feet because he was in such pain for like 4.5 to 5 hours.
Oh my God.
From like 8 p.m. when we would like try to put him down normally to he finally fell asleep exhausted on an air mattress with me holding him in his room at like 12:30. And it was just like the worst. Like, I was at that point, I was like, I don't care if I get this.
Yeah. You also don't even care about like
yourself
and being tired. It's just like, how do I stop the pain for my child? And
there's nothing you can do because they're so uncomfortable, but they can't express themselves. He was just like screaming and drooling because his mouth and tongue and throat hurt so bad. It got to the point where he just literally exhausted himself from screaming.
You ever get nervous enough to like, we got to take him to the hospital kind of thing?
It was close.
That's a very like fine line of like, when do you do that?
We've gone to the hospital multiple times, and sometimes you're just like, I have no idea what to do at this point. Like, there's nothing that we can do to kind of fix this.
And I think
And-
early on you do it a lot more.
You
and
do
it a lot
first
more.
kid energy is you do that a lot
Just
more.
when you
with
start
your
when they
first-
start getting like if they're not eating and drinking and then you start worrying about their hydration and that stuff and that's when it's like okay now we got to figure out a way to get them hydrated.
Yeah.
Like Atlas spent my son who's 3 spent like 3 days in the hospital with my wife because he was like just super sick. He was like 1 at the time and he was just super sick and he just wouldn't keep anything down. And so like it might have just been like a flu, but the problem is he was dehydrating himself and that gets
Yeah.
scary
That
and
gets
serious when
dangerous,
it
yeah.
goes a while. So at that point they just like intravenous him and like got him
Fuck.
back to where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, so I don't know. Just being a dad, I don't know how
Good
I
luck,
would
man. You're only
deal with that though. No, but like just emotionally, that's got to be really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because like in Ontario, you're in for like, depending on what hospital you go to, you're like a 4 to 5 hour wait.
Yeah.
So in a lot of cases,
There's no
whatever they
point.
have can pass
Yeah.
by the time you're
Yes.
ready to see a doctor.
Yes.
And
So
he's all
like,
smiley and happy.
there's this
I
thing
feel
where,
though they do take kids a little bit more seriously.
but they
than
also like
adults.
kind of rank you. They're like, okay,
True.
the kid had a fever, we gave him Advil. So
Yeah.
like you're at
Yes.
the bottom of the fucking list
if
at that point.
like a kid comes in with a chopped off arm, they're going to be there in 2
Then he's-
hours.
yeah,
two hour waiting time.
yeah, that's fast.
2 hours. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
a quick one.
That's not
You're
bad.
exaggerating
Yeah.
a bit.
But like, like there was one time where it was, I think we were he was young, like probably wasn't walking yet. So 6, 7 months. And it was like, we had been there for 6.5 hours and we just left.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's like
by the time he
he's
left,
fine.
he's
His
fine.
fever was gone. You're like, all right, whatever. We just like left the thing because we were just like, okay, we're obviously at the bottom of the list. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. You try to put
Yeah.
him to bed at like 9 or whatever, and it's just like this feels like this is never going to end. But
Welcome
yeah,
to the Canadian
How was
fucking healthcare
How did he
system.
feel the next day after that
The
whole
sore?
I
debauchery?
think it was probably totally fine.
Totally
like
fine?
they rebound so quick.
It's
but like
wild.
yeah, HFM, the hand foot mouth thing was probably like that one awful night. He had started showing symptoms a couple days before. Then he had the one awful night, and then it was 2 days where we had to keep him home, and he still had a couple of sores. So it was probably like 5 days in total.
Yeah.
But one really bad day. The next day he was like eating mac and cheese and stuff again. So that was
That's the other problem
like a
is like
huge
how these
relief, but-
daycares make you like stay home for a while.
And you still pay
the
for it
kid,
too, eh?
Of course you still pay for it, but like, it's because they have to give this buffer of, that they're completely like non-contagious, but
Yeah.
Yeah, like
a day and a half later,
48
they're
hours with no
fine.
fever.
Yeah, like, and the day after later, they're fine. They're like, they just want to get out, or they just don't want to sit still. Like,
Yeah.
It's not like they're lying down, like watching TV. They're being as active as
Yeah.
they would be.
But with like working, if both parents are working,
That's what I was going to ask.
then
Is your
you're
wife?
fucked.
Yeah, what
So,
do you
your
do?
like,
wife works full time as well?
Well, she's on maternity leave
Now
now.
she's on mat leave,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, there was times where it was like she's taking vacation days to stay home with him for 2 days because he had
Yeah.
a fever at night for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or he had to get picked up at daycare, at like 3.
yeah, diarrhea. Like not even a fever, diarrhea. and
Yeah,
they
that's
send
2
you home.
days.
Do
So
you
like,
have family close
like
by that can
prison.
help out, or is it just
yeah,
you guys?
yeah. So we have family extremely close by. If they see this, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we do have family that's close and extremely helpful. So that's been pretty good, especially with my wife. So my wife, when she was like 8.5 months pregnant, sprained both of her ankles.
How'd you do that?
Think about that. No one's ever done that. I don't think.
Like
No,
figure
that's already-
skating or something. What was she doing?
She was deadlifting. No, think about anyone you've ever known sprain an ankle.
Simultaneously?
Same fucking time. So I don't think anyone's ever done that. It's very difficult to do.
No,
so
it's in the Guinness.
she
That's
goes to
impressive.
check. She goes for a
I'm
checkup.
not even mad. That's just impressive.
Yeah.
She goes for a checkup at her doctor, her OBGYN office, whatever, getting close, trying to see how things are progressing, whatever. She calls me. She's like, I'm going to go to this Italian bakery we used to go to get food when we lived near there. And she goes, should I get like 1 lasagna or 2? And that, at that point, was the biggest issue of our day. I was like, fucking get 2 if they're on sale.
We're fucking living time
She
of our
calls
life.
me. She calls me like 12 minutes later. It sounded like she had been kidnapped, like just heavy breathing, all this shit. She's like, I fucked up both my legs. I fucked up. I go, what are you talking about? And she's 8.5 months pregnant, so you're
you're,
she's
like,
big. I'm
nervous
super worried.
for the
I go,
kid.
what happened? She goes, I fell out of my car and both my ankles are fucked. I go, what are you talking
How
about?
do you fall out of a car?
This is
Wait,
crazy.
The
it was-
Like,
lasagna.
wasn't even-
Was it the lasagna?
Or it was
she
slippery?
hadn't even gone in yet.
It was slippery from this guy being in the fucking car earlier.
And it all
Whoa.
comes round circle.
Yeah, that was still 8 months later, and I was still doing that. I just got used to it.
It became a fetish.
So she hadn't even gone into the place yet. So she's like, you need to come here. So I'm like fucking panicking, obviously. I leave work, I rush there, and they have her. It was the most Italian thing ever. They have her like in the back, feet up. They have her drinking like soda, crackers.
San
they have,
Pellegrino
they have
or
ice
something.
on her fucking ankles, or like another frozen lasagna on her ankles or whatever. A nice old man helped her up and stuff. They were super nice to her. So we're like, okay, we got to go to the hospital because it's like
yeah.
she's
The
bad.
baby's okay, yeah.
Obviously, got to make sure that she fell on her side. Thank
Okay,
God.
yeah.
which is obviously
What kind of a car was it?
The best
was
news.
This the truck?
It's a Yukon, so it's
Yeah.
not a it's
Not
so-
short, not
it's
low
not
to
a
the ground.
short fall.
Yeah.
No.
So, and then, but I can feel like I can see. I've sprained my ankles many times.
Yeah.
I know that both of her ankles are sprained, and I'm still not fully understanding how this happened. So, but I'm like, okay, she fell on her side, so that's ideally or likely the baby's all right, but we have to go get checked out. Like, there's no way I'm just bringing you home, also
Yeah.
for your ankles.
Yeah.
So I get in her car, I pull it up front, we like wheel her out, get her in the car, and I go to drive away, and my foot slips on her like floor mat by the gas pedal. I go, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? You're like, it's like
Not-
super,
yeah, it's not
super
gripped.
slippery. I'm like, what is this? Like, these are like all weather floor liners. Like, they're typically grippy. I go, what the hell's? She goes, oh, there's a habanero sauce from McDonald's that fell on the floor and I stepped on it. And I go, do you think that has anything to do with the fact that you just fell out of your car? She goes, oh, so she had gotten habanero sauce, which is delicious, by the way,
Yeah.
on her shoe. So she was stepping out of the car, slipped, sprained one of her ankles on the
then
running
went to-
board,
and tried to get her
and then tried to
balance.
catch herself with her other foot on the ground
Like
and
most
sprain
of us
that,
would
and
do.
sprain that ankle.
Wow.
Oh, and did you tear any ligaments or any of that stuff, or she just like
One was a high ankle sprain, so there was probably some leggy damage.
yeah?
Okay.
You don't want to
It
fuck
was
that leggy damage.
Yeah, the baby was okay, obviously.
That's good.
And
You get through super quick when your wife's pregnant through the hospitals.
it was we went to the hospital where we had left with our son.
Yeah.
That was in Oakville. We were there for an hour, and I go, this isn't going anywhere, because everyone there just like has like a hangnail, and you're like, get the fuck out of the emergency room.
Oakville.
Like, what are you doing?
It's Oakville. Come on.
So we went to hospital in Burlington that has a fantastic emergency room. Actually, no, it doesn't. So don't go there ever if you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Gotta-
you
gotta
don't want the
gatekeep that
crowds
shit,
to-
man.
Yeah, I gotta
Gotta
gatekeep this.
that shit.
So we went there, and they had her seen for her ankles, and then up to the maternity ward and out in like under 2 hours with
That's
full
great.
checkups and everything done.
Yeah.
But again, ankle
And so was
sprains, you
she
can't
down
do
for,
anything.
like-
No.
So
Oh, wow.
she was like, oh, I'm going to use your crutches. You need a fucking foot to
Yeah,
use
you
crutches.
need-
You need a working foot, and both
So you
of
gotta
her
get
feet
her.
were fucked.
She got to get a scooter.
So she was like, I was like, do I get her like those like polio crutches with like the arm thing? Does
Jimmy,
that work?
like Jimmy.
So like she's literally like hobbling around. So thankfully she was off work for like 2 weeks, I think, because of it. Because she literally couldn't move, and then your ankle's not healing because you don't
Yeah.
have a good one to put it on.
Yeah. You have no
That's
way to
fucked.
rest.
So it
this.
takes even longer to heal. Plus
And
she's
you're,
8.5 months
And
pregnant.
your feet swell.
So the
when-
thing that I didn't know, and this is what some people explain to me, I learned so much by just like posting about things that people message me.
Oh,
they're like,
same.
It blows
Same.
my mind
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like doctors follow me, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you need to spend your time a little better.
Save children's lives.
So apparently, when you're preparing for birth, there's a hormone in the female's body that loosens your joints and ligaments and tendons
prepares you
to prepare
Fuck.
the body for
for
birth.
the expulsion
Yeah.
of baby.
However, what the fuck do the ankles got to do with it? Can we localize this
Yeah,
a little bit? You
it's
know what I'm
gotta be
saying? I've
more
never,
like the
I've never heard of
Yeah,
birth.
why is it?
I've never. I'm assuming that it's all ligaments or whatever get
Starting to
loosened.
Now you're
loose.
gonna get like all the standing birth people like just fucking saying this sucks.
Let's localize it. It's
Yeah.
2024. Let's
Yeah.
localize. I never heard a birth story that was like, oh yeah, and then they dislocated my ankles, but I
and
didn't feel it.
shoulders are popping out. It's like fucking
Yeah,
like
none of your arms
You
are
turn into
attached.
a
Your limbs are
werewolf.
yeah,
attached
you're
anymore.
like werewolfing out. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
That happens.
So that's actually why. So her tendons, just because she was about to give birth, were
Were
much
loosened.
looser, and then it just pop, pop,
fuck.
double ankle sprain, first one of its
The
kind.
females, that's a weird species.
It is. Well, I heard
God,
if
what
like
would we do without them though?
I
if
know,
like your
seriously.
wife is breastfeeding and you walk into a room where like a kid has like sneezed, the body starts like making antibodies to like protect the fucking kid. Or if your baby cries,
Yeah.
your tits start leaking. Like it's fucking,
yeah.
it's
Oh,
weird.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
That
what
I-
happens
that
with
I
me.
know, yeah.
My tits leak when
When
Asher
you cry,
cries.
as
So,
you cry, your boobs leak.
Are you getting like recognized out in public now? Is that starting to happen for you?
It happens occasionally, usually at Walmart.
Okay.
Walmart are my people. And
That's your
this
place.
this isn't even a shout out to that other story.
Yeah,
It's
no
just
free brand deals,
actually
man.
happens at Walmart. Thankfully I don't get
Do
recognized
people
in the
at
parking
work
lot.
ever like razz you?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I like to be sarcastic with it by like, I hate the word influencer.
Yeah, of
it
course.
just kind of like,
Yeah.
it rubs me the wrong way.
It's yeah.
And but
Oh,
I'll be
Walmarts.
like, yeah, I'm just like, it's really, being an influencer is like really, really hard. I'm just like, I'm tired from all the influencing. Like I'll
Carl,
just be
can you take this today? I'm a little bit overwhelmed.
I got to go open some brand deal.
been doing so
stuff.
much influencing last night.
Did
so
people reach out like to kind of bring this round circle? Have you had like cool opportunities that have come from like this social world? Like, are people like and brands reaching out at this point, or
yeah, brands reach out quite a bit. I actually just signed with a talent agency,
Nice.
which is
I
very
was gonna
exciting.
ask that, yeah, so that's cool.
So 4 years in the making. I've been making content for 4 years. I put out almost a video a day for 4 years.
That's wild.
Which
Yeah,
is
it's dedication.
It's tough, but it feels like it's finally kind of paying off a little bit.
Awesome.
So I just signed
Congrats.
with a talent agency, so that'll be cool. So they'll handle all my brand deals and stuff because
Very
it's
cool.
a nightmare to handle yourself. Like even if if this is it was my full time gig, it's just
Yeah.
like you don't know what's like spam, what's not, because a lot of these
Totally.
because a lot of these brands have like like marketing agencies that aren't English speaking.
Yeah.
So you'll get an email in like horribly spelled English,
Broken
which
English,
makes
and
you
you think
think
it's
immediately
fake,
spam, but it could be a
real.
legitimate brand reaching out.
It's
and it's
like
just someone who doesn't have English as a first
like
language.
those chain letters of the guy from Africa who just wants to put money in someone's account.
Yeah, well, you need to
He's
send.
just
You
waiting.
send that. If you
Yeah.
get
send
that,
it-
you send
dude,
that.
it's $18 million, and
know.
all you have to do is send $1,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
$500 like
makes
Walmart
sense.
gift
Such
card.
a good. I can't believe no one's brought that to Shark Tank yet.
Yeah, the math
such a
is
good
mathing
idea.
on that one. No, that's awesome, man. Congrats. Like,
Thank you.
it's
Yeah,
kinda-
so it
exciting.
feels like that's finally kind of come a little full circle and paying off a little bit. It'll be cool to work with some other brands. I've done some like, and again, it's stuff where I don't ever want to become an influencer to the point where I'm like hawking shit that I
Yeah,
don't
it needs to
day.
make
like.
sense to your personal brand. At the
Yeah,
end
like
of the day.
I've done stuff for like stroller companies, car seat
sick.
companies, like breast pumps, like stuff like that. Stuff that I actually like use and can.
Yeah, and
like
comment on in a funny kind of
Yeah, like and that's
satire way.
what I'm gonna continue to do because I think I have full choice of what I do.
Yeah.
Obviously nothing where they're like your kids need to be in it, and I'm like
good.
I'm not gonna sell barbecues for you. It's a wicked
Show
callback,
me your
by
feet.
the way.
Speaking of feet, I get feet comments all the time on
he
this
does.
podcast.
We get
Ooh,
comments
Stan
on.
socks, very
Yeah.
nice.
We get people commenting about his feet almost every episode because he doesn't wear shoes. And it's really fucking weird.
So I'm looking
but
for
we
that.
appreciate
That's
you
one
watching.
show.
That's
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm
keep watching.
I'm gonna keep doing it for you.
Yeah, the CPM on freaking family stuff, anyways, is like up there. So you're in the
Yeah.
right freaking.
Good.
It's good. Are
Right
you
industry.
any kids into Bluey yet, or no? Any Bluey stuff?
So my son's like not
I have
super
to ask
into
because
Bluey.
I'm so like, dude, it's so fucking good.
I know, but that's the thing that pisses me off. I'm like trying to get my son into it.
He's
like,
still young. He's still young.
and I'm
Two's
just like,
a little
dude,
young.
please watch it because like that's a whole other area of content. I see
Oh
people
my
doing
God.
tons of content about it, and I'm jealous. I can't because my son's not into it. I'm not just gonna start
you
watching it by
can, though,
myself.
watch it alone. It's that
That's the
good.
thing, is
it's
that
good, and just connect.
It's a show as much for parents as it is for kids, from what I've heard.
Changes my life on a
Yeah,
daily
dude.
basis.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We saw Bluey live.
Oh, did you?
It was
That sounds
it was
good.
It was good. I mean, all you do is like in between like all the whatever action on stage, you just hear like from like 20 rows this way, like someone screaming and crying, and then someone down there screaming and crying.
It's got to be tough being on stage. It's kind of like
no,
Matt
but like
Rife,
I
just
told you,
people
they do
freaking-
this stage show well because it's all they're Australian, right? So like the voices are very important. And I'll tell you an interesting fact
Fucking
about this at the end. But so it's pre-recorded track, and they're just like puppeteers
Okay.
acting it out. So like it doesn't matter if a kid's fucking screaming or crying, the show continues. It's a track. It's like 61 minutes, and it starts and it stops. There's
Okay,
no
that's
like
smart,
wait.
though.
It's way better for
Getting
kids
heckled
programming.
by a toddler would
Yeah,
stink.
it's the
Totally.
worst.
So they don't stop. It doesn't matter if kids are screaming. But the Bluey story is interesting on the fact of keeping your kids kind of like on the social or not. Is that the characters, the actors who play the characters of the kids, like Bluey and Bingo and all the whole team, they're not credited on any IMDb or whatever, no purposely, and like nobody knows who they are, and
So it's like Banksy.
it's
but
like
for-
Banksy, but for this. But yeah, so they made a conscious decision, and I think rightfully so at this point, because
get
people are
paid though, right?
Bluey. They get paid.
Oh yeah,
Good.
They
Yeah,
get
they're-
paid.
they're
They got
making
good
that
contracts.
Bluey money.
But there's crazy adults, guilty, who are obsessed with Bluey, and so like that exposure to children is something
just-
that this kind of
You
producer
just creeped me
thought.
out a little bit. Man.
That's a smart
That's
choice,
okay.
though.
It
Yeah.
was. It's an interesting
like
approach.
that.
It's like the first time this has happened, and I thought it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And on that note,
Not cool.
yeah, no, it's
Cool.
it's fine.
So what's the rest? Yeah, as we wrap up, what's on the docket for the rest of your day?
Yeah.
This is midday. Like, can we say that? Are you skipping work right
no,
now?
No, today's my day off.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we
So I
appreciate
spent
you
my
coming in today.
okay. So just so you know the type of person that you had on your podcast, I had almost half a Costco sized chicken pot pie for breakfast.
Oh, nice.
Think
love
about
that.
that.
And so
With eggs.
So the rest of your day is
On the toilet.
Toilet.
Trying not to pass out from that.
in the traffic that you'll likely hit on the way.
Because there's never not traffic
It's
in this
living
goddamn city.
in the fucking city is the worst.
I
But
don't even live in the city and I still have to deal with
I
it.
know.
you come in often.
Not that often. Like if I come in, it's usually for like an event, like I'll see a comedy show,
Yeah.
or like a Leaf game or something, and I'll take the train just because it's.
Way
So much easier.
I sat next to a homeless guy on the GO train like a couple weeks, which I didn't even.
That you could have been in his house.
That
So maybe you were. That's his
I
home.
actually interrupted him.
Yeah.
He's like, my house
You're
goes.
in my living
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, he's like, my house goes from Clarkson to Union, and
Exactly.
you're actually on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I'd never seen a homeless person on the GO train
bus.
before.
What, does it
Usually,
cost
it's
money?
like other like a streetcar or bus maybe, but GO train is
I've
like
never-
Higher end.
It's like
yeah.
It's a
Bougie?
high
What's
this guy?
end.
I've never been on.
bougie.
I've never been on the.
Toronto
GO
might be
train.
one of the only cities where you can see a homeless person with like a nicer phone than you.
It's
Yeah.
very, very true. Or shoes.
Damn,
or
he's got an
something.
iPhone 15.
Well, speaking, it's true though, because speaking of tangents, I saw they were interviewing these homeless people who were like very well spoken at these events, and they purposely
I don't think
like
we can actually say homeless anymore.
the
one-
unhomed.
The
one
unhomed.
without a house.
Yeah.
Thou shall not be named. Some of them purposely like he's like, whenever I got like nice things, I won't wear it because you get less on the streets
Yeah.
if you have like
Yeah.
a nice pair of shoes or like a decent looking jacket.
Yeah.
And there's a whole like marketing plan to some of these homeless people.
We should bring
and
them
it's- and
on
it's
to market
interesting.
this fucking podcast.
Yeah, so
and
maybe
get
this
it off
one
the
is just
grounds.
living his best life and not caring.
I mean, he looked pretty rough to be honest.
Okay,
with you.
okay.
not the greatest.
Yeah, he had sandals on that didn't fit,
And they weren't Crocs.
No, they weren't.
Wet Crocs.
wet
for that.
Crocs, wet cocks.
So
Where can
any
we
of
find
these
you?
camera, yeah. Shout out your socials for
I want
our
to feel
small
it. Yeah, we got to
channel.
make sure you follow, like, subscribe.
Maybe you'll get some feet comment, and we'll send them your way.
You guys are you guys wearing the same shoes?
No. If they're white. We're all
These are.
dressed
I buy
in
my shoes. First of all, it looked like I walked through here through a fucking coal mine. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know why these are so
It's the
Yeah.
Toronto
dirty. But
streets.
my new thing is like buying a cheap pair of white shoes like this, wearing them for like a summer, and then just getting
That's
rid
what I
of them.
do
don't
with
because
last.
they're-
Vans.
Yeah, but like winners, these I don't know. These are like $49 maybe. That's not a bad deal.
I only wear Vans really. So that
This is
makes
how
sense.
bad I am at marketing. You told me to shout out my socials, and I started talking about my fucking
Yeah,
shoes.
it's fine. Your agent will
So,
whip you
Not
into shape.
because fucking socials are
Follow-
going off the chain.
So follow me on TikTok at Champagne Tyler. I'm on YouTube at Champagne Tyler. My Cameo, because I do custom videos
Oh, yeah.
for money.
How's that?
I whore myself
going?
out. It's fun. Can I finish my
Sorry,
shout out?
sorry. I just
Jesus.
God.
I'm on Cameo as well, and then my Instagram is at heated_seats. They all have the same picture, so that you can see that it's me. Cameo's
Verified?
fun. Yeah, but I do like on Instagram. It's the paid one.
Oh, yeah.
Only because I had some fake profiles starting to pop up.
Yeah, so you need to
And you
lock it
need
down
like
quickly.
when you
It's
have
a
the
nightmare.
meta verified one, you can actually like speak with a person.
How have you not been verified yet? At 250?
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm at 200.
I don't
and
think
change
it's the
on
number.
TikTok.
I think it's the articles written about
It's
you.
articles
Well,
written
you have
about
to
you
submit
and,
that.
and public thing. I keep rubbing this
Yeah, I know.
I
disgusting
always
Nicolas
do
Cage
that.
pillow.
I always do it. Sometimes I
Yeah.
draw little horns on them.
It feels like I'm like rubbing a C in them or something.
Yeah,
It's kind
you
of
are.
nice.
But Cameo goes well.
Cameo's fun. Like it's obviously there's sort of waves with it. Like Mother's Day was big. I
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
like 40 of them probably for
Wow.
Mother's Day.
Well done.
Like Father's Day is going to be another big push for me, and then like holidays and that type of stuff because it's people are. It's so weird to say like fans, but people are legitimately
of course.
fans and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like custom video. My price is lower than a lot of other people, probably with similar follower counts
Yeah.
because it's just like
But
it
to
feels
some
weird.
people, you're like everything, right? So like they're watching you, and to like their husband or wife, it's like this is amazing. This
yeah,
is
I've only had a
fantastic.
couple weird requests.
I was just gonna ask,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
have you had any weird requests?
yeah, like I've done 100 and change of these things.
Holy fuck! Wow.
Most of them are just like, hey, can you shout out this? Or like people in my mom group are big fans. Can you shout out this? I did a gender reveal once, which
Okay.
is like that's a lot of
Well, that's cool.
responsibility.
Yeah, it's a lot of with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
I never
If-
heard
if
back from
there's-
that. So like, it's like who knows?
Do
Maybe
people usually give you feedback after?
sometimes like I can
reaction
you
videos?
can review like in the app once
Yeah.
once you send one you can review. And then sometimes I'll get a message on Instagram being like, hey, thanks so much for the thing. My wife
that's
loved
good.
it or whatever, which is kind of cool. The one I had a foot one.
Really?
Being like, yeah, can you wiggle your toes? And I was like, for $12? No.
15. We
Make
got
it
a deal.
15 and I'm in.
No, I'm like, I'm upping my price immediately after this. And then I had one where the person was like, obviously wasn't a parent, was like, my friend thinks you're funny. Can you do 5 minutes of like Jim Carrey like faces for her? I was like, no.
What? How did you find my?
In like
Interesting.
5
but
minutes.
You're physical. Like you have a physical humor to you, right? So I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
that's where that.
Yeah, I have
connection
like an
was.
expressive face, which
Yeah.
means I'm just gonna age fucking terribly. But like,
Botox works wonders, man.
so
Ask Dane Cook.
if you have somebody, yeah, let me know. But
I do.
yeah, that was the only one who was there was a
weird.
couple of weird ones, but it's mostly it's pretty good. So yeah, hit me up on Cameo. I'll do custom videos. I'm gonna do a big push for Father's Day. I don't know when this comes out, but I'll do a big Father's Day
We'll
push.
get it out before Father's Day.
Yeah, we'll get.
I'll do a big Father's Day push for Cameo, which will be fun because it's I have like 82% female followers, which is
Interesting.
pretty
Does your
weird.
wife ever get jealous?
Complete no, because it's like it's
They're
it's
moms.
like it's moms and families and people that follow
You'd
me
be
like that. It's not.
surprised what kind of moms and families are out there.
Thankfully, I think my followers are like some of the good ones.
Good.
It's not like it's not a weird thing where it's just like because I talk about my wife and my content and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm making it obvious, like, hey, this is
Yeah.
not. Don't fucking DM me some weird shit later.
Yeah.
So like,
Keep
Here's
the
my
boobs out of the
toe.
DMs.
yeah, and I for as far as DMs go, like I try to at least sort of like
Get
like
back to
it or
them.
react to as many people as possible because it's it's getting more and more DMs. So
Sometimes
yeah.
it's a full-time job in
I
itself.
slid in his DMs. I was like, "Hey, you should come on the podcast."
Oh yeah?
I was like,
is that how you guys
fuck
connected?
yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's so cute.
I don't know. Sometimes you just got to shoot your shot, man.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it
it's
was
worth
worth it.
I try to respond to almost every single one, and sometimes I can't, and then sometimes you get some hateful ones where you're like, this
Yeah,
is
that's
yeah.
got to be tough. And
ruined
that's
my day.
also if you have kids on and like getting like mean fucking comments about your kids, like
Yeah, that's-
stab someone.
That's a good reason why not to have them
Yeah.
on, I guess, because
yeah, like
you're not putting them in the line of fire.
yeah, and thankfully I when I was doing the car content, I had a lot of negative feedback because
yeah,
just
it's
like,
a whole other
because
beast.
people are just like so car
Passionate
people are
about
so
cars,
passionate about
yeah.
their thing, and you start making fun of their like car, which is their whole life, they get real defensive.
Were they pissed when you moved content from like cars? Like, did you have any car fans like get back
Sell
to the
out.
cars?
You sell
I had a
out.
ton of people
Bring
like
back
that.
the cars.
I had a ton of people who were like, "Yeah, what are you doing, man? This sucks." And I was just like, "Bye, dude."
Yeah.
Like, I sold my sports car when my son was born,
Yeah.
which is a smart financial decision.
Oh yeah, not getting what I got and finding out you're having a kid fucking 2 weeks later. Yeah,
and
not
so,
smart.
and then just the content just naturally went to that, right? It's like,
Yeah, it's who you are.
I could-
It's organic, right?
yeah,
like it's real.
I'm doing whatever. I'm doing content about what's happening in my life.
And
like
it's
it would
not
be,
forced.
it would be phony. It would be forced, and
Yeah.
it would be awful and disingenuous if I was still trying to do
Pokemon
car
cards.
content. So like,
Chuck on my cards.
so it was like, I was like, my thing is the parenting content for now. I could get back to that point if I ever get a sports car again. I'll be
Yeah.
doing content about that. Like I occasionally do like Formula One related type stuff because I'm still
Yeah.
a fan of that, and I
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it as much as I can. My son's starting to
What
get a little
team?
more interested.
Who's your team?
I like Lewis.
Okay. How do you feel about the switch up?
I think it's a huge move. My son likes the red cars whenever he watches a
Yeah.
race. So I'm like,
So
okay,
you gotta
so
cheer for the red
he's
cars.
gonna like the red cars next year.
Does he like
with
Cars,
Ferrari.
the movie? Is
Loves
that,
Cars,
yeah,
the
so that's
movie,
where it comes
So
from.
hypothetically, if you have a third, would you get a fucking minivan?
I don't know. There's a couple of minivans that you can
They're
make
pretty
look
cool.
pretty cool. There's some lame ones, but there's like
But the
I think
tech inside them is great. Like,
tech's great, and they're a lot less expensive than like a 3-row SUV, like a Yukon XL or like a
Yeah, they're
a
overpriced.
Navigator or those
Yeah.
cars.
Aviators. Yeah.
Those cars are hugely expensive and expensive to run.
Yeah.
If they have a V8, I mean, that's
But
crazy.
you're so zoomy.
So yeah, so my wife is a diesel, thankfully, so we get
Okay.
fantastic fuel economy. But
good.
it's I don't know if I could if I did a minivan like
Yeah.
as a car guy, it wouldn't be stock for long. It would look
Souped up,
pretty nice.
giant fucking tires
Yeah,
on
big,
it.
big wheels and tires, probably
Fast and the
lower,
Furious
tinted out.
22.
Yeah,
12 feet off the ground, just ankles spraining left, right, and
yeah,
center.
exactly.
Awesome. But
Amazing,
no,
man. Well,
yeah.
thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Like, I'm happy that you responded to the messages, and I'm happy we were able to do this. And I love your shit. I think it's awesome and
Yeah.
funny. And so, from me to you, keep at it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
keep
man.
going,
Thanks, guys.
man.
This is a
Keep
lot of
going.
fun. I don't do a lot of in-person podcasts because it's a lot from the U.S. or out of town.
Yeah.
I love in-person podcasts. It's so
Yeah,
much better.
it's
Like the
way
Zoom
fucking
stuff.
better.
The Zoom stuff is okay,
You don't connect.
but it's and it's a lot of. It's the only way a lot of people can do it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
but this is cool. So you guys have a legit setup here.
Thanks, man.
Just
I
don't show what's
appreciate
on the other side of the camera. It's a fucking mess.
It is just a lot of instruments and shit.
It's all of Paul's semen samples.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just too
dude,
many.
put a lid on those, please. It stinks in here.
Fuck. But let's do the whole spiel. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to Smash that like button, leave a comment.
Yeah.
We're going to leave his info down below so you can go check him out. And don't forget to share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you're listening on your boombox or in a car or minivan or whatever the fuck you listen to this shit on.
3-row.
We
SUV.
are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon, all that fun stuff. And don't forget to rate, because once we hit 100, you get to pick something off the wall.
You like our wall? What
You like the
decade
wall?
are you born in? Any of the 90s nostalgia stuff hits you?
Yeah,
or?
we got a whole ton of
I have
shit
to,
up there.
my bladder's so full right now. I gotta head down to the Life Labs and donate. But
Ayo.
let me see.
Yeah, we got a lot of
Some good
shit.
stuff here.
Yeah.
Look at that Degrassi High. A shout out to Drake, maybe. Oh, Jurassic Park. My son loves dinosaurs right now.
There you go.
Take it home from.
Yeah, if
you
you
have a
want- you wanna-
VHS player.
You got a VHS player, you can
Good
borrow
enjoy
it.
it.
TMNT. Beautiful.
And
Good stuff there.
on that note,
We're not looking at the wall
we're
anymore.
not.
I'm
we're not.
Daniel.
I'm Paul.
And
Tyler Champagne.
And we are the Dad Collective Podcast.
thanks, Glenn.
Man, thanks for watching. If you're still watching, this is a long one.
I like long ones.
Donate sperm.
Yeah. You took anything away
Don't
from
do it in
this.
your car.
The dad